He got injured, but he didn't like the way that they played when he watched the film. So I think the guys are going to have to play a lot better today.
Marcus Center and Victor Hairston back deep for the Spartans. Corey Smith getting set to kick off here for the Mountaineers, ranked number 19 in the country. They are now ranked in both polls. We're ranked in just the AP poll going into last week's game. The victory over Marshall has catapulted them into the top 25 in both polls, and now Smith the approach, and it is going to come down to Marcus Center. He'll take it at his goal line. Center crosses the 15, finds a little room, and is chopped down as he gets to the 25-yard line.
On the return for Norfolk State.
And it was Ian Smith who was in there on the tackle. Or Cecil Level, I beg your pardon, on the stop for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, Dana Hogerson talked about the special teams they didn't play that well last week, so I know he wants to see some guys really get down there and make some big tackles today.
Gave up a punt return for a touchdown, although Tavon Austin did have a return for a touchdown himself on a kickoff as Chris Wally gets set to bring the Norfolk State Spartans to the line of scrimmage. Going to see a lot of similarities. Both teams run the spread offensively and defensively. A lot of similarities in schemes between the two teams. And you're seeing the play signaled in from the coaching staff of the Spartans on the far sideline. Wally will throw quickly, complete. And it's the Xavier Boyce transfer from Virginia Tech, and he's going to pick up first down yardage across the 35 to the 36-yard line. As we take a look at the starting offense here for the Norfolk State Spartans, Takeem Hedgeman at running back, Josh Alford at fullback, and then the three-receiver set you saw there. And that offensive line, Kendall Noble, the left tackle, first-team All-MEAC. The rest of the offensive line being patched together. It's going to be something to watch today. Nico Flores, by the way, has checked in at the quarterback position already for Chris Wally. We expect to see both those guys playing today.
A little bit of wildcat action here to try to throw the Mountaineers off.
Flores fakes, going to throw, looking deep, has a man out there. It's Boyce. Boyce makes the grab inside the 20 and is dragged down at the 8-yard line. Play action pass up top, and Boyce gets the big gain, finally corralled by Tandy, but he took it all the way inside the 10-yard line.
And this is what I was saying, trying to throw the Mountaineers off. You know, usually when you come out with wildcat, you're expecting some kind of run, but this guy can throw, and Keith Tandy just fell asleep and let the receiver get behind him.
So first down at the 8-yard line. Flores remains in at the quarterback position. And Flores will stop to look over to the sideline to get the call. Boy, just when you're an underdog team coming in, a big play like this early on to sort of give you a little momentum.
And this is similar to what happened last week. Marshall came out, scored first, and they made the game a real big game.
And now we have a flag coming in.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
And that maybe takes a little of the sting out of that big play that you just got. You're hoping to come right up and capitalize on that. Instead, we'll see some new personnel groupings coming onto the field for the Spartans.
And you're going to see everything from Norfolk State early on because, you know, this is their game plan. A lot of teams like to scheme the first 15 plays. So they obviously saw something in the Mountaineer defense on film that made them feel like they can get that play off.
Empty set. And Flores indicating that they don't have the right personnel out in the field, and now they're going to have to call a timeout.
And like you said, it really is taking the sting out of that big play. You got 2 consecutive times where you can't even get a play off. So I think both sides will settle down right here.
Well, you mentioned keeping the drives alive, and when you're an FCS team, and also not to be overwhelmed. That was one of your keys, John, in this game. And you come in and right away you hit a big play, and maybe you settle down a little bit, and maybe you get some belief for a while that you can play with a team that's ranked 19th in the country as you move from FCS up to FBS competition.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, football is football. So these guys are good football players. The Mountaineer has, you know, probably a lot more good football players. But these coaches saw a lot on film of West Virginia. They know that they can get some big plays down the field. But it's up to the Mountaineers now to settle down and understand that this team has a lot of big play capability within them.
Flores comes out with that empty set look. Once again, they'll stop and look for a new play in from the sideline. The play clock winding down once again, and we're going to get another delay of game penalty coming off a timeout.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And Kendall Noble, the left tackle, the veteran, went over to the sideline and screamed over there and said, let's get this play and let's get something going here.
Yeah, it's a shame. They really had a good thing going. Now we'll see if they can convert this into another first down.
Flores will bring Hairston into the backfield with him. The fake to Hairston, and Flores is knocked down for a loss of 2 on the play. Bruce Irvin leading the charge defensively.
Yeah, Bruce is the best defensive player on the field right now, and he's over there against Noble at the left tackle. He should make a lot of big plays in the running game all day.
So this is going to bring up a 2nd and long. Again, this drive, or this possession, started at the 8-yard line as Chris Wally is now back in at the quarterback position for the Spartans. Empty set, and the crowd making it hard to hear as Wally's trying to change the play. Wally throws underneath to Boyce. Boyce will cross the 20, get down to the 15. Flags coming in late as we take a look at the defensive starters here for the West Virginia Mountaineers. Darwin Cook on the stop there, running that 3-5-3 defense with Miller, Wright, and Irvin up front.
Offense, number 2. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Rigg, Good, and Francis are the linebackers, and in the defensive backfield, Tandy, Garvin, Smith, Cook, and Miller. So another penalty. And John, this Spartans offense after that big play continuing to move back all the way back now to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, now you're going to have to see more of a traditional offense because they came out and showed the Wildcat and their big plays off of it. Now you're going to have Wiley back in the game, and they're going to have to manufacture something down the field here to get a first down.
And I would think the first order of business is get back to manageable field goal range.
Yes.
Wally looking, throws to the running back Hedgeman out in the flat, and doing there, Tandy wrestles him out of bounds. Short gain from the 29 down to the 26, and is going to bring up a 3rd and goal from the 26-yard line.
And I think this is what the Norfolk State Spartans are going to come out and try to do. The quick passes, try to keep West Virginia off guard. But they're going to have to get downfield here. And to get downfield, they're going to have to block Bruce Irvin here. So let's make sure we watch Bruce on this one.
Well, that's another factor with your patchwork offensive line. And then that good defensive front led by Irvin up front. You would think that would be a recipe for a lot of short passes for the Spartans.
Yes.
Wally has a sidecar to his right. Fakes to that sidecar, throws to Boyce on the wide receiver screen. Read well by Darwin Cook. So just a short game again as Boyce and Wally hooking up there, and it'll bring up a field goal attempt.
Yeah, they're still trying to run that fake dive screen outside, but these plays aren't going to keep working. The Mountaineers have seen it like 3 times in a row.
The Ryan Estep will try a 40-yarder, 3 for 3 last week on field goal attempts. Long was 39, so this would be a season long for him. And the kick is up, and it is good. So Ryan Estep has helped the Norfolk State Spartans come into Mountaineer Field and take a 3-0 lead. But wait a minute, we have a flag down, and
offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
Well, now you're going to have to reconsider the field goal attempt here. And they might bring in a different kicker. They're going to Everett Goldberg is their kicker on long field goal attempts. So Estep's 40-yarder was good, but that looked about at the outside of his range. And so now Everett Goldberg will come in to try an attempt of 50 yards. The leg is there for sure, and the kick is good. So the Spartans couldn't get out of their own way in the drive for much of it after the big play, but they do convert, lead 3-0 here at Mountaineer Field. Back at Mountaineer Field, where the Norfolk State Spartans are leading number 19 West Virginia 3-0 following a 7-play 42-yard drive. Pete Adrian's team goes on top. 4:04 of clock, some of that in reverse after the big play. But John, successful and a good start for the Spartans in this game.
It's a very good start. You never want to come out here, like I said, go 3 and out, 3 and out. They went out and they had a very big play on the first play of the game, so that was big for them.
An onside kick attempt. And that went sideways from the beginning, out of bounds at the 31-yard line. So Pete Adrian coaching aggressively and trying to take some of the wind out of the sails of the Mountaineers. Instead, his defense is going to be pinned back deep here.
Even though that play didn't work, is showing his guys, you know what, we're going for the win today, even though we may be outmatched.
Kicking team, number 8. He'll take the ball at the inbound spot. First down.
So you like the aggressive call?
I do. Early on, I think it's really because it's keeping the Mountaineers off guard. And like you said, the big play offensively now, the special team. So what are they going to do now defensively? Are they going to throw some kind of strange blitzes at them? But now I think the Mountaineers have their attention.
Geno Smith, a sensational season. You saw the numbers last year as a sophomore. Lots of praise from Coach Dana Holgorsen, who was, of course, trying to install a completely new offense. And now they're going to march off 5 more yards and put it at the 26-yard line. So, well, you don't want to give Geno Smith the whole field, much less 26 yards of it to operate in. Bernard Roberts in motion. We'll get the short pass. And he'll find some room, and he'll cross the 20 and get down to about the 19-yard line. So Bernard Roberts, the freshman starting this week, is Corwin Hammond, the leading tackler for the Spartans, makes the stop.
And on these plays, the receivers are trying to get man-on-man blocking. You don't really have to get big blocks, just get in front of the guy. So that's a very good play for the Mountaineers.
And that wide receiver blocking was something Dana Holgorsen was highly critical of last week against Marshall. Here's Roberts on the left side, and Roberts will be stopped after a short gain. Jamal Giddens makes the stop defensively for the Spartans. As we take a look at the West Virginia offense, Roberts, Clark, Austin, Nealon, and Urban, will see a lot of different wide receiver formations, and Barclay, Braun, Madsen, Rader, and Pat Egger along the offensive line for the West Virginia Mountaineers. 3rd and short. Mountaineers will go empty set as Roberts motions out. Smith looking, throws towards the sideline and out of bounds, incomplete. Intended for Tavon Austin. So the Spartans doing a good job defensively after that failed onside kick.
Yeah, we talked about in the opening how Geno Smith's a pocket passer. He probably could have ran for the first down here, but he's always looking downfield. I think we get to the sideline and coaches tell him, hey, just take off and get the first down for us.
That was Nat Turner-Harris who made the nice hit and drove Austin out of bounds. And so now a field goal attempt here for Tyler Bittencourt. And Bittencourt's kick is up, and it is no good, wide left. So the Spartans come down and score on their opening drive. The failed onside kick and the missed field goal. And the Spartans, over 5 minutes into this game, enjoy a 3-0 lead, and they'll get the ball back.
Yes, and the Mountaineers, they have to be very careful here. I mean, I don't think this is a horrible start, but Norfolk State is very, very aggressive right now. The Mountaineers missed a field goal, gave up a big play defensively, and the Mountaineers offense went 3 and out. So everything seems to be leaning towards Norfolk State right now. And
Bittencourt was a guy who a couple years ago as a freshman had an outstanding season, had some misses last year, although had several blocked attempts, 4 blocks last year for the Mountaineers. They have a new special teams coach in addition to new head coach Dana Holgorsen and a new offensive staff, so hoping to get some of those issues cleaned up, but Bittencourt with a miss there, and Chris Wally will be back in at quarterback for the Spartans. We've seen both Wally and Flores so far. Wally will head straight up the middle and pick up good yardage. A pickup of about 7 on the play. Will Clark on the stop defensively for the Mountaineers.
And the Mountaineers run his 3-3 stack 5 defense. The nose guard has to stand in there a little bit better, but you know, look at this. He's getting double team the linebackers after the field.
We mentioned gelling defensively as Flores. Flores couldn't decide what to do and wound up keeping the ball, and Julian Harris will wrap him up and take him down. A loss on the play. Obviously, as he and Haynes were trying to get together, Randy Maines, I beg your pardon, this was not the way you draw it up here.
No, and this is just an extension of the Wildcat. They have to run other plays off it besides the pass, and as you saw before at the end of the last drive, they start to make mistakes again.
Well, couldn't see from our angle that it was fumbled and bounced right back into Flores' hands, so very fortunate that the Spartans didn't turn it over. Wally back in now at quarterback on this 3rd down and 4. Play clock once again under 10. Wally gets the snap off. Looking under pressure, and is going to throw it out, and it's going to be caught. It is complete, and this is Hedgeman, and Hedgeman's going to pick up the first down. It looked like that may have even been a lateral. It just squirted out at the last minute as Wally found Hedgeman, and nobody realized the ball had been released, and Hedgeman picks up the first down.
Yeah, this play started off poorly for the Mountaineers. No pass rush. And then when they did get to him, he tossed it off to the running back. And everything's going Norfolk State's way right now.
An alert play by Hedgeman.
Yes.
And it's a first down. Wally remains in a quarterback ball at the 37-yard line. Spartans had 2 delay of game penalties on their first drive. 6 on the play clock here. Wally just does get that off. The give off the left side, and this is Victor Hairston. We see a lot of this. The wide receivers will be running backs. The running backs will be wide receivers. A lot of moving parts here for the Spartans offense as Pat Miller makes the stop.
Yeah, when you run these spread offense, a lot of these guys are interchangeable. The wide receivers and running backs are a lot of times the same size, so they all can do the same thing.
Short gain of 2 brings up a 2nd and 8. This time going with a tighter bunch than we've seen. Wally will fake. Back to pass. Looking and tried to set up the screen. Incomplete pass to Takeem Hedgeman. And that time the pressure did get to Chris Wally.
Third down.
As Doug Rigg came in from his linebacker position. So Rigg with the pressure there, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and long. The Mountaineers, the gong going off, and lots of noise at this stadium, as I'm sure you remember as a player.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty loud down there right now. So I think it's key for this offensive line to just stay together. And now you see Bruce Irvin back out on the field. And this is where he makes all of his big plays.
And once again, the play clock getting perilously close to expiring, and they're just going to get it off. And Wally on the keeper, and he is blasted. Bruce Irvin led the charge defensively. Also had some help from Keith Tandy. And the Spartans will be forced to punt.
4th down.
Yeah, and this is what he did last year. He came in the game on 3rd downs, had 14 sacks, and now they want to make him more of an every down player. But 3rd down is his thing. I mean, he's a lighter defensive end, but he can get a lot of sacks for you.
Troy Menzer back to punt for the Spartans, and Tavon Austin will be back deep to receive for the Mountaineers. It's a low wobbler. Austin asking his team to get out of the way. They're going to let it roll, and it's going to take a very favorable Spartans bounce inside the 10 down near the 5-yard line. So West Virginia, great field position their first time. They'll be backed up in the shadow of their own end zone this time around when we return from Mountaineer Field. Back at Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia looking to give their fans and their cheerleaders something to cheer about and something to get excited about. Trailing right now 3-0. Dana Holgerson looking on, his 2nd crack offensively with his team. Back at their own 6-yard line. Geno Smith tried to wrap around handoff. Boy, an alert play by Smith. That was well read by the Spartans defense, and Smith was able to pull that ball out of there, tuck it away, and pick up some positive yardage as Corwin Hammond makes the stop.
Yeah, they still look to be having some miscommunications in the run game. The running back went to block. Geno handed him the ball. That play he had no chance from the start.
And so that brings up a 2nd and long. Smith will fake, rolls right. And a flag coming in. Ball deflected, incomplete. Looked like they might have got Ryan Clark for a hold. We'll wait for the call, but the Mountaineers offense really hasn't found its rhythm yet.
Offense, number 32, half the distance to the goal. They play 2nd down.
Yeah, they have some young guys in this system, and Dana want to be sticking straight up pretty soon.
And it was Ryan Clark on the hold, so it's going to bring up. Actually, it was refused by the Spartans. They said half the distance to the goal line, but the Spartans will refuse the penalty and bring up a 3rd and long. Geno Smith will motion Roberts out of the backfield, empty set. Smith back. He's going to try to screen underneath, and it is snuffed out to Stedman Bailey. And Stedman Bailey is wrapped up and dropped by Amici Anyago on the stop defensively for the Spartans. And once again, West Virginia held off the scoreboard.
And the Spartans came ready to play today. You know, big play offensively, special teams going for an onside kick. Defensively, this is their 2nd 3 and out. So the Mountaineers better wake up pretty soon.
Yeah, I think we expected the Mountaineers to be marching up and down the field. Then 2 possessions, no points as of yet, as Corey Smith will be back to punt. Smith, a low liner. And it's going to take a very favorable roll for West Virginia. And it's going to roll inside the 35-yard line. And it's going to be down right around the 31-yard line where the Spartans will take over. But a very good start for Pete Adrian's squad, leading number 19, West Virginia, 3-0. Back at Mountaineer Field, a surprising score. Norfolk State leading number 19 West Virginia 3-0 with 5:09 remaining in the first quarter. Rob King alongside former West Virginia star and NFL stalwart John Thornton. One of your keys was for Norfolk State to keep drives alive. Time of possession 7:09 for the Spartans, just 2:42 for West Virginia. So Pete Adrian has to be very pleased with the start of his team.
He has to be. I mean, like you said,
Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
I think the Spartans came out with a very aggressive attitude, a very aggressive game plan, and they sort of knocked West Virginia back. And now West Virginia they don't know what's going on, so they really have to get it together.
We saw Blake Matthews with a lean, and that's one thing Pete Adrian can't be happy about. Too many penalties for his team early on. Fake to Hedgeman. Flores on the keep. He's able to elude one tackler, but then is swarmed under by 3 West Virginia tacklers after a short gain. Najee Good leading the charge along with Josh Taylor.
Initial hit by Najee Good.
You know, as a team, one of the things you have to do is not overreact to the start. I mean, it's 3-0, but nothing's going West Virginia's way right now. So the guys on the sideline really have to stay with each other and not start yelling.
Flores out, Chris Wally back in for the Spartans. At the quarterback position, they've used both liberally. The ball bobbled, and Wally's going to pick it up, going to look for some room, gets to the outside and manages to take a bad situation and get something positive out of it before he's forced out of bounds by Ian Smith. And you can see once again the bad snap there, and that's the second time, John, in which a ball has bounced right to one of the quarterbacks. It was Flores the first time, and Wally here the second time. These could have been disastrous turnovers.
Yes, I mean, everything seems to be going the Spartans' way early on. I mean, the onside kick didn't hurt them. The big play they got early on, they got to start to take advantage of this.
3rd and 9. Wally with a fake. The screen underneath to Boyce. Boyce looking for first down yardage. Looks like he's going to get it, but a late flag comes flying in as Ishmael Banks made the stop right around the first down stick, but we do have a flag that came in.
Offense, number 23, 10-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
And it's a student who gets called for the flag, and that's one thing Pete Adrian's squad has not been able to do. They had the ball at the 8-yard line, a couple of penalties brought it back. They had to wind up kicking a 50-yard field goal, and here another holding penalty.
You see a lot of screens out of this offense, so I think the next thing you'll see off of that is the screen, and then fake the screen and go deep.
So Wally now, after converting a 3rd and 9, will have to try it again. This time it's 3rd and 12 from the 29-yard line. West Virginia's showing blitz. Now they back off. Wally, short pass underneath to Harrison. He is hit immediately and dropped by Broderick Jenkins. And a loss on the play. Broderick Jenkins came flying up to make the stop.
And what that's doing, that's negating Bruce Irvin on the pass rush. So I think that's why they're really throwing the quick screens out to get the quarterback comfortable. But as you can see, the Mountaineers are sitting on those routes, so they're going to have to do something else offensively.
We talked about it, the very inexperienced offensive line. Only Kendall Noble, really a veteran, and all MEAC selection on that offensive line. The other 4 new starters. And here's the boot, a low driving kick once again. And Austin's going to think about it. Now he's going to pick it up. And he's got some room. He's got a wall along the left side. Here comes Tavon Austin. Austin makes one-man miss at midfield. Crosses that stripe across the 40. Down along the sidelines. Inside the 20. Inside the 15-yard line. Tavon Austin. An electrifying return for West Virginia on a ball he didn't even want to field.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't even want to pick it up, and he did. It looked like Norfolk State fell asleep once he picked it up.
And here's the boot. Austin looks like he doesn't want any part of it. Then it just bounced right to him. Spun away, and look at the room and the wall of blockers up the left side. And that's the one man he made miss there. And that was able to get him the yardage he needed up that sideline. Great job of walking that tightrope as well, John.
Yeah, he's a very good runner. He could probably start at Mountaineers start at the running back position for the Mountaineers. And if they don't get a running game going, he may move to the running back position.
Andrew Bowie is checked in. He was banged up last week, but back in here now, the freshman to the left of quarterback Geno Smith. Smith back, looking. Throwing towards the end zone, has a man back there, in and out of the hands of Ivan McCartney. Not sure whether he would have come down inbounds anyway, and it's going to bring up a second down.
Yeah, I think Dana Holgorsen is going to have to at least draw some plays up where Geno runs a little bit, because it looks like the Norfolk State defensive backs are just sitting back there waiting for the pass to come.
Looks like McCartney would have been out of bounds even if he had hauled that in. So now 2nd and 10 from the 12-yard line. In motion to give to Bowie, and Bowie is hit, wrapped up, and dropped after a short gain by Corwin Hammond, the team's leading tackler a year ago, their best defensive player perhaps, and he makes the stop.
He did, and on 2nd and 10 is usually a down where you like to run and pick up some yards. But the Mountaineers are going to have to change it up because Norfolk State is really all in their backfield.
No gain, so a 3rd and 10 now for quarterback Geno Smith and this Mountaineers offense. Smith will give to Bowie. Bowie on the draw, and Bowie is going to get down inside the 5-yard line. Going to be short of a first down, and that'll bring up an interesting decision here for Coach Dana Holgorsen. And a big hole here for Bowie to break it up inside, and it looks like they are going to go for it. So clearly trying to get themselves in position to have a chance to go for it here on 4th down. At the 5-yard line, need to get to about the 2. Man in motion for Smith. Give to Bowie again in the same play, and he is going to be dropped short by Corwin Hammond once again, coming up to make the stop. And Corwin Hammond, a terrific job on that drive, and the Spartans will get the ball back on downs.
Yes, until the Mountaineers running game gets going, they have to get Geno Smith going to fake the ball to the running backs. The running back, they aren't getting yards. He has to fake the ball and run it himself.
So Pete Adrian's squad has to be extremely pleased with the way things are going here. 1:57 remaining in this first quarter, and after this big tackle by Hammond, and that looks like, again, maybe just a blown assignment there, because Hammond, nobody blocked him. Everything was sealed off there, except nobody blocked number 34.
He was unblocked. He was sitting in the hole, and the Mountaineers didn't recognize him. So you got to credit Norfolk State. They come in here, everything is going their way, and they're going out there and they're earning it.
Chris Wally will be in at the quarterback position for the Spartans to begin this possession at their own 4-yard line. The fake, Wally back, and a throw has a man wide open. And it is Hairston, and Hairston's going to cross the 30-yard line. Well-designed play on the play-action pass. Ian Smith forcing him out of bounds, but a pickup of nearly 30 on the play.
And this is normally where they started throwing those screens on the outside. Now they're going downfield, and they got everything working. So the Mountaineers are going to have to decide whether they want to blitz this guy to get him out of these quick passes.
Oh, nice job as Darwin Cook was right in his kitchen, and he was still able to complete the pass. 29 yards on the gain, 7 for 8 for 50 yards. To give to Hedgeman off the left side. Hedgeman spins across the 35 and is dropped after a short gain on first down. So the Spartans getting a big play, nothing else, just to change field position by picking up that first down, but clearly looking for more. Their confidence beginning to rise a little bit here.
Yeah, and they keep the Mountaineers on the field defensively. Guys are starting to point at each other, asking what's going wrong. So this is not a great start for the Mountaineers defense at all.
Nico Flores back in at the quarterback position. Flores will get it, looking to throw, and skips it out there, and probably a good thing he did, because Miller was closing on it and looking for the interception. And now Flores will check back out, and Wally will check back in at the quarterback position for the Spartans. Under a minute remaining in this first quarter, and Norfolk State surprising number 19 ranked West Virginia with this 3-0 lead.
I think the Mountaineers need to bring a blitz here, or at least show the blitz, so this quarterback can maybe get confused.
Wally now will look over and get the play called in again. Go up to his offensive lineman in this loud environment, let him know what the play is, and settle back into the shotgun. And the give to the Hedgeman up the middle, and Hedgeman has a big hole, and Hedgeman looks to have the first down out near the 45-yard line.
And they blitz from the outside. They look like they brought an outside back or a safety, but they got to start coming up in the A-gaps, because that's where they're getting the most yards rushing.
Well, the offensive line, we talked about it, inexperienced group other than left tackle Kendall Noble, and doing a fine this front three of West Virginia.
And you see the defensive ends are out wide. The nose guard is in there by himself. So the linebackers really have to do a better job of getting off the blocks by the offensive guards.
20 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. Wally pump fake looking and now throws it back. A good job coming back for the ball by his wide receiver Demps, and now Demps looking for more. Demps crossing the 40, Demps crossing the 30. Demps will make another move to get inside the 20, down near the 15-yard line before Will Clark in pursuit forces him out of bounds. Derek Demps, a big play. And another big play here for this Spartans offense.
And we talked about this the last drive, how they would fake the outside screen and throw it down the field, and that's what they did, except the wide receiver cut it back across. You can't. That's no excuse for that for the Mountaineer defense to let a guy cut across like that.
And that is the final play of the first quarter, and a startling first quarter as the Spartans up 3-0 and looking for more. And you can see gaining confidence as Derek Demps with a big play that time for the Norfolk State Spartans. Well, as you know, tomorrow marks the 10th anniversary of 9/11, a day that will be remembered forever in our country. The tragic attacks that took place at several parts around our land, and West Virginia here at Mountaineers Stadium is going to be honoring those people. We can see the people on their feet here as public address announcer Travis Jones has that for you.
God bless America.
A stirring tribute here at Mountaineer Field. We'll be back with the second quarter. Norfolk State leading West Virginia 3-0 here on college football. Back at Mountaineer Field, where the Norfolk State Spartans leading the West Virginia Mountaineers 3-0. Really kind of an amazing first quarter in which Norfolk State outgained West Virginia 179-19. And are now looking for more here, but another flag comes in, and this has been a real problem for the Spartans as we get the call.
Offense, number 3, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Yeah, you're seeing this a lot where they get down in the red zone, things become tighter, and the Norfolk State Spartans are just jumping off sides a little too much. But you have to remember, this is the biggest game of the season for these guys, so they came out very excited, and the coaches are coaching like it's the biggest game of their season too.
So it'll be a 1st and 15 after the big play that ended the first quarter to Derek Demps at the 22-yard line. Wally the fake and the throw underneath and incomplete to Boyce. That was well read as the Spartans really jumping that quick pass out to the flat.
Yes, and that's one of the things that they obviously want to come in here and do a lot is get the ball on the outside, keep Bruce Irvin from getting to their quarterback. So what you do with that is you keep throwing it outside. Now Bruce will maybe stop, and they'll have more time to get down the field.
So the Spartans now kind of wandering around a little bit back there. No hurry to get this off. They've had a couple of delay of game penalties, so they have to be cognizant of that as you take a look at Bruce Irvin. Waller, quick pass out in the flat, and it is incomplete to Hairston. Boy, that was set up out there to Hairston, but the pass just off the mark. Looked like a little miscommunication. Maybe Wally thought Hairston was going to come up the field a little bit more.
Yeah, it looked like Wally rushed that pass just a little bit. It was a little bit off target, but he did have some room out there. So, like I said, they're going to keep throwing these screens, go off of that, hit it down the middle. So the Mountaineers have to be careful.
3rd and long. It's a 3rd and 15 from the 22-yard line. Wally looking over at the sideline, play being signaled in. Under 10 on the play clock once again. Wally, some pressure from the backside, escapes, moving to his right. Throwing underneath too high, and it sails through the end zone, incomplete. And the Spartans will be forced to settle for a field goal attempt. Nice job by Wally of stepping out of that sack attempt by Irvin.
Yeah, that was a great job by Irvin, really getting Wally off balance and making him make a bad throw. But Julian Miller on the other side has to keep contained because Bruce most likely is going to get pressure. He can get a free sack if he just stays outside.
So Ryan Estep will be on to try the 39-yard field goal attempt. Remember, booted one through from 40, but there was another penalty, so they brought the long kicker in Everett Goldberg, and he hit from 50 yards out. This attempt from Estep is up, and it is good. And the Norfolk State Spartans, with 14:41 remaining in the second quarter, field looking to pull a shocker. They're up 6-0 over the 19th-ranked Mountaineers. Back at Mountaineer Field, Norfolk State, the Spartans from the FCS ranks trying to pull a major upset over number 19 West Virginia. They lead 6-0 as we are early in the second quarter here. Rob King alongside former West Virginia star, all Big East performer, and longtime NFL stalwart John Thornton. And John, the Spartans coming in here trying to pull a shocker and starting to get more and more comfortable, it seems.
Yes, they are. And if I'm a coach of the Spartans right now, I'm telling my guys, listen, we have to capitalize on all of these yards that we're getting because it's still a one-score game. The Mountaineers score, they're back up. So Norfolk State has to capitalize on everything that they're doing.
Goldberg with a short kick trying to keep it out of the hands of Tavon Austin. They did that. But the return is still a good one out to about the 37-yard line, and we do have a player shaken up for the Norfolk State Spartans. Looks like Marcus Cooperwood's going to get up, though, and be able to continue. If you take a look at the numbers Dana Holgorsen put up as the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, Houston, and Texas, and mind-boggling numbers, and look at the NCAA ranks that he's been able to put up, John.
Yes, he can definitely put up the numbers, but these guys have to buy into the system. And not only buy into it, but when they get out here on the field, they got to execute everything he's trying to get done.
Well, you can imagine a guy that has put up those kind of numbers, not pleased with the 19 yards his team has mustered so far in this first half. Geno Smith back, looking, has all kinds of time, and now we'll throw to a check down man. That's Tavon Austin, and Austin will pick up about 8 yards on that play before Deontay Sullivan comes up to make the stop.
And what they have to do, like I said, they got to get the running game going because Geno has all day to throw. So what they got to do is get the secondary players to commit to the line of scrimmage so they can go deep because it looks like that's what they're trying to do.
And Austin, you can see, kind of wrestled down there, just limped off the field. I don't know whether it was a shoe or whether he's actually injured, but Tavon Austin looks like he's getting a little help along the sidelines. Now to give to Bernard Roberts. Roberts will pick up first down yardage, crossing midfield and getting down to the 46-yard line before Amici Anyago makes the stop for the Spartans. And finally, a little running room here for Bernard Roberts.
Yeah, the center and the guard there for the Mountaineers got a good block on the nose guard, knocked him out of his gap, and he finally got some running room.
So West Virginia crosses midfield. They had excellent field position on their first possession after a botched onside kick attempt. And now trying to put together their first sustained drive of the game. That's batted away downfield, and a good defensive job by Jamal Giddens.
And maybe when I'm looking at it, Mountaineers may need to start to run those screens that Norfolk State's running because Norfolk State is sitting back there in the secondary, not letting them get deep. So they got to really create some big plays. I think they should start running some more screens.
Pass attempted there for Willie Millhouse, and Giddens, one of the better players defensively as well for the Spartans, able to knock that away. 2nd and 10. Fake to Roberts. Smith back, looking, has all day. Now going to throw underneath and rifles one in there. Beautiful throw and catch, and spinning out of there is Tavon Austin, and Austin down the left sideline, and Austin down inside the 2 to the 1-yard line. Tavon Austin, evidently he's just fine, thank you. And a beautiful catch and run by Tavon Austin.
It didn't look pretty, but it worked. And Geno Smith, again, had a lot of time to throw, went to his favorite target, and it looks like the Spartans fell asleep once he caught the ball, thinking somebody else was going to make the tackle. You see 26 right here just sitting there. But Tavon Austin probably should have scored. Number 3 would have got this block.
Stedman Bailey shoved out of the way there, but all the way down to the 1-yard line. And now the Spartans want to call timeout here. And so the Spartans are going to have to use one defensively. Their second timeout. with 13:10 remaining here in the second quarter. And West Virginia trying to get this ship righted a little bit, balance things off. They're expected to win this game and win it going away. As we take one more look at this nice play by Tavon Austin, who had the long punt return and then this catch and run.
And like we said before, Norfolk State dominated the first quarter, but they only had 6 points. It's a one-score game. So everything that they did, the Mountaineers can erase all of that with one score right here. So Mountaineers, this is a good timeout right here for the Mountaineers. They got to punch this one in.
At some point when you're a heavy favorite like this, and I'm sure you were throughout your collegiate career at times, you begin to press if you don't take the lead, if you don't, if the other team begins to hang in there longer and longer and longer.
Because the players feel what kind of game it's going to be. I mean, this won't be the atmosphere when they come here in a couple of weeks and they play LSU. The Mountaineers will feel like underdogs, so I'm sure they'll have a different feeling. But when you're a big, favorite in these games, you sort of subconsciously feel like you're supposed to go out there and dominate.
Two big fullbacks in there in the game, Lindemood and Ryan Clark. Roberts is the deep back behind Geno Smith. Smith will look to throw, corner of the end zone, too high, intended for Stedman Bailey.
Intended for Stedman Bailey, falls incomplete.
And it's Nat Turner-Harris, who is in coverage, bring up a 2nd and goal.
Yeah, this play, it wouldn't have worked anyway. Geno threw it too far. The guy would have had to been 6'8" to catch that pass, but
West Lions, maybe.
Yeah, West Lions was up there with the Steelers, yes.
Now the give, and it's Roberts off the right side, and Roberts will not get into the end zone. Piled up and stopped short on Yago again, led the charge defensively for the Spartans.
I think this is 2-down territory right here. They have to get in the end zone in this drive.
So it's 3rd and goal. Smith will remain in that short set shotgun. Roberts behind him. Motions Clark over. And the throw again, and it is incomplete again, but we do have a flag on the play as Harris and Bailey were battling over there in the end zone, and let's see what the call is going to be.
Harris defending on block.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 8. First down.
It still looked like, I don't know if they were trying to run a back shoulder fade right here. It just didn't look good. Defensive back. It's within 5 yards, so I don't know about that call right there.
Well, it's a call that the Spartans are not going to appreciate, but it does give the Mountaineers a fresh set of downs. Smith will give to Roberts off the right side, hitting the backfield, trying to lean forward, and no indication except that he didn't score. So it's going to bring up a 2nd and goal again.
And they're lucky they got their first down, because this would have been a 4th down and it would have been a big decision here for Dana. But I'm just shocked at the Mountaineers' ability to not be able to run the ball in the first 2 games.
Eric Hitch, the inside linebacker, came in and made the good hit in the hole again. 2nd and goal. Fake to Roberts. Smith looking to throw for the corner of the end zone. It is caught, but once again coming out of the end zone to make the grab was Ivan McCartney. So they'll have yet another play from right around that 1-yard line mark.
That was a very long 1-yard gain. So the Mountaineers have to they got to line up sometimes in an I formation and pound it in. This spread offense, sometimes it makes you a little finesse, and it makes you like finesse players up front. But put Geno under center and let him at least sneak it in.
3rd and goal from inside the 1. Smith remains in the shotgun. Gets the snap. Going to look to throw again. And Smith's pass for the corner of the end zone is incomplete over his intended receiver's head. And that was intended for Tavon Austin, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. And it looks like they're going to kick the field goal here.
I mean, he doesn't have any confidence in his offense right now. They couldn't punch it in from 2 to 3 yards out. So, yeah, they want to get some points on the board. Hopefully this will get us some confidence. But give credit to the Spartans. They bowled up here in the goal line and didn't let the Mountaineers in at all.
So Tyler Bittencourt will come on to try the field goal. He's missed 1. And he's going to try to get the Mountaineers on the board with 11:25 remaining in the second quarter. And Bittencourt's kick is up, and it is good. And so the Mountaineers on the board, but still trailing the Norfolk State Spartans 6-3 here with 11:20 remaining at Mountaineer Field. That is the correct score. The Norfolk State Spartans leading number 19 West Virginia 6-3, 11:20 remaining in the second quarter. It's been big plays. Nico Flores hooking up earlier with Xavier Boyce.
Yeah, they came out very aggressively with the Wildcat offense, so they went downfield instead of running the ball, and they caught the Mountaineers off guard.
That led to a field goal, and then the pass here to Hairston for 29 yards, and then Demps, the nice catch and cuts across the field and made big yardage out of this, and that led to another field goal for the Spartans.
Again, a lot of guys standing around watching, trying to wait for somebody else to make the play instead of making it themselves.
So the Spartans armed with some big plays. I think if we were expecting big plays, we thought it would have been from West Virginia. Chris Wally, you can see 8 of 12, 88 yards. Nico Flores has also been at the quarterback position. And here's the run up and the boot. Corey Smith bangs it deep. And that is going to be Cooperwood who's going to take it at his goal line. Cooperwood crosses to the 20. A flag comes in once again. And that is taken out to the 20, perhaps a 21-yard line by Marcus Center.
Holding on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
So Center, not Cooperwood on the return, but another penalty for the Spartans. That has been a constant theme.
Yeah, they hurt themselves, but the Mountaineers at this point in the game, they're down 3 points, playing very poorly. Norfolk State give them a lot of credit coming out with aggressive game plan, but somebody has to get a turnover at this point if you're a Mountaineer fan. That's what you want to see, a turnover, something to get this team jump-started.
Wally will remain in at the quarterback position. Did not throw any interceptions a week ago. Only had 8 last season, so he's a guy that takes care of the ball pretty well. West Virginia showing blitz, backing off, and then wandering up to the line of scrimmage again. Wally taking his time once again to get the play call in. 10 on the play clock. And Wally will give to Hedgeman. Hedgeman finds some room, crosses the 15, crosses the 20, hit hard, but maintains his balance and gets out to about the 24-yard line as Keith Tandy made the stop, but a good first down play with a run by Hedgeman.
Yeah, it is, and like I said earlier, those screens that they were throwing outside has really gotten the Mountaineer defense. They're back on their heels right now because they don't know there's no rhythm to what they're doing offensively, and they're having a way.
For valuable yardage, they get outside of the shadow of their own end zone and get out to the 24-yard line as they get a fresh set of downs here. Once again, Wally taking his time. Down to 5 on the play clock. Wally will keep this time, and Wally will smartly slide down as he gets to about the 25-yard line, as that play was well defensed. Julian Miller got out there to make things uncomfortable for quarterback Chris Wally.
Yeah, Julian Miller is a guy, I think he's battling an ankle injury. He's out there toughing it out, but he's a big guy that can run, and he made a great play on that one by playing the inside run and then stay on his feet and getting outside to make the tackle.
Flores will check back in at the quarterback position, give Wally a yard, make it 2nd and 9. And in motion, the fake by Flores, he's going to keep. He's got some room. He's going to cross the 30-yard line and get tripped up as he gets out to about the 32-yard line by Darwin, by Flores.
And this 2-quarterback system is really working because number 6 can run the ball and he can throw it. And then while he comes back in, he's probably a better passer. But you got to watch for him running this play right here because he can run the ball.
Wally checks back in on a 3rd and short. Flores heads to the sideline, having done his job, picked up 7 yards on that run, making it a very manageable 3rd and 2 for Wally and the Spartans offense. Clock continues to run, under 9.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Wally, problems with the snap, going to try to keep it, and he is thrown down rudely to the ground. And that is Big George Wright on the stop. And so once again, we've seen the bobbled snap be an issue for the Spartans team as well, and this threw off the timing of this play.
And this has happened like 5 to 7 times, I'm guessing, that the center snapped the ball very high, and that throws off the timing for the quarterback to either fake it to the running back or throw the ball. So the Spartans are just killing themselves.
So they'll kick it away as Troy Menzer comes on, and Tavon Austin, a nice return as last time, back deep for the Mountaineers. Menzer gets the boot away. And Austin's going to have some room, but he's going to call the fair catch back at his 19-yard line. So once again, unfavorable field position for the Mountaineers. They find themselves in the wrong end of a 6-3 score here at Milan Puskar Stadium. Great crowd at Milan Puskar Stadium, but I'm sure they are having trouble believing what they're seeing. The Norfolk State Spartans leading West Virginia by a score of 6-3. And take a look at the yards here, and 201 to 79. Who would have thought that going into this game, John?
Yeah, you probably thought that would have been reversed, but the Spartans came to play today.
Give to Trey Johnson off the left side, and Johnson is tripped up in the backfield and dropped for a loss on the play by Jamal Giddens. Well, they just can't get any traction in this running game. Had trouble last week against Marshall and not running the ball effectively again today.
It just seems like they don't have a rhythm with what they're doing up front. The receivers, the running game is just struggling. So to me, you're almost to the point where you scrap it and let Geno win it for you.
Call it 2nd and 10. Geno Smith in the shotgun. Smith has plenty of time. Out to Johnson, in and out of his hands, and then he's walloped after the play, and flags come in late. And once again, flags an issue for this defense and offense, as it was Onyago who, I beg your pardon, Ricardo Volson, who came up and made that late hit.
As a defensive
Personal
player.
Foul. Defense, number 26. Helmet down with contact. Automatic first down.
I don't agree with this call right here. Number one, as a defensive player, I think that he had a step or two to stop, but he deserved to get hit for dropping that ball. So, you can't keep dropping balls like this, and Geno has all day to throw, and I didn't mean that in a bad way, but you got to make that catch right there for Geno.
And maybe they wouldn't have called it if it wasn't for the helmet of Volson hitting the helmet of Johnson, but a first down for the Mountaineers, and they'll take it however they can get it. This offense has been floundering throughout this first half. Smith back. Going to throw it up the seam and into and out of the hands of Devon Brown, a transfer from Wake Forest who can't hang on.
And it looks like the Spartans are just rushing 3 guys, and they're letting the Mountaineers make a lot of mistakes because the passing, you know what they need to do? Number 89, Tyler Urban, just came in the game. Maybe throw them balls. And they didn't get him the ball last week. Let's try to see what he can do.
Brown was a guy, Wake Forest leading receiver the last couple of years, transferring in as a senior and just unable to hang on to that one. A grad student, actually, I beg your pardon. His pass now thrown out along the sidelines to McCartney, and McCartney is going to be at the first down stick. And it's going to be dependent upon the spot. Looks like it's going to be enough for a first down as Cooper Wood forced him out of bounds, but a good throw and catch here. And beautifully delivered, and this time McCartney hangs on. Quick pass out to Tavon Austin. Austin has some room. Austin sprints up the sideline, and a touchdown-saving tackle by Amici Onyago.
It looks like the Mountaineers are starting to get a little bit of rhythm here in the passing game. Keep getting the ball in the hand of your best playmakers. And Tavon Austin is a guy that can catch it and make people miss.
So the Mountaineers look like they're trying to pick up the pace a little bit here offensively. And now the Spartans are going to use their
Norfolk State, third and final timeout.
And this is a good timeout right here because they're starting to give up some yards. Look like West Virginia's getting into a rhythm. So I don't blame the coach right here.
And Todd LaPenta picking up for me where I left off, third and final timeout. So no more timeouts here in the rest of this half. Now some of that is because of some defensive alignment issues. They had some trouble in that first drive offensively. They got a couple of delay of game calls against them, and so flags, some management issues here for the Spartans, but you still look up at that scoreboard and they're leading 6-3 with all the penalties, with all the mistakes they've made. They're still the ones with the lead.
Yeah, but coach knows, hey, we got to get a stop here because if they score on this drive, everything that we've done will be erased. So that, in my opinion, even though they don't have any left, it was a great timeout to let his guys get some rest, number one, and then two, let them know, hey, we need to stop.
And Pete Adrian going to use them all. Sometimes you see a coach will have timeouts remaining that don't get used, and there he is, 1966 to 1969, a WVU grad, number 63.
I had the opportunity to meet Pete yesterday when they came over and did their walkthrough. He took their guys through the stadium. Very nice guy.
And doing a nice job with the Norfolk State program. Back-to-back winning seasons for the Spartans. And the MEAC. Geno Smith throwing long, and nope, Bailey, they said, did not drag the foot in bounds. Came down with it, but they said out of bounds for Stedman Bailey.
In the middle of the field is where the Mountaineers need to start attacking. Geno's making some tough throws, and that was a good throw. It's just a tough one. But they have to have some plays where they get these guys open over the middle.
Bailey clearly out of bounds there. 2nd and 10. Give to Bernard Roberts off the left side. Roberts a little bit of room, and now going to be driven down hard by Devontae Reynolds after a pickup of about 5 on that play.
Another one of these young backs that they have in here, and a lot of times with the running backs, they're not patient enough to wait for their holes to open, so maybe that's the problem with the running game.
Geno Smith quickly getting the next play called. Smith back to pass, looking, and has some room to run. He's going to take off, and he's going to spin forward across the 30 down to the 29-yard line and pick up that first down.
And Geno looks like Pat White a little bit, but he's not Pat White when he takes off and runs the ball. You know, Geno is a pure pocket passer. When he runs, he almost looks unorthodox when he does it, but he runs enough to get a first down, and he was right to slide right there.
Beat last week against Marshall, picks up a much-needed first down for the Mountaineers there. And he'll give to Roberts, and Roberts finally gets a little surge from that offensive line. That's something that has been lacking, that offensive line surge. We've seen some creases, some holes. This time they blew him off the line of scrimmage.
Dana Holgerson was very upset with his offensive line this week, and he talked about it in the production meeting yesterday. He wants to see a lot of improvement by these guys, or he's going to replace them.
Geno Smith, the handoff to Roberts, and Roberts will pick up the first down again. So this power running game, as Marcel Koch makes the stop, that was lacking when they had first and goal from the 2, suddenly finding some life here.
And the Spartans are getting very tired. They're tired up front. You know, they're not rotating their front guys, so they're going to have to bring some blitzes to get a negative play here.
Andrew Bowie is checked in at the running back position. Fake to Bowie. The look and the throw over the middle, incomplete, deflected away, but I think we're going to have a hold there as they went for your guy, Tyler Urban, but looked like Urban was held up by one of the defensive backs.
He's a 6'4" tight end, 250. He's actually playing the inside receiver position, but they don't have a lot of plays for the tight end, but he's a guy that can take advantage in the red zone here. That's why I was saying they have to fake the run and hit the guys over the middle because everything's been outside so far.
Play. An eligible receiver downfield, offense number 57. Holding defense number 26. Those fouls offset. First down.
So they'll bring it back and try it again. Urban from Norwin High School in suburban Pittsburgh, just up the road.
And this is a play like a pop pass to wait for him to get open. So obviously he got held. He wasn't open there. But I think as the game goes along, those plays will be open for Tyler because they're not expecting him to get it.
So first and 10 back at the 18-yard line. Smith, play action pass, looking over the middle, wide open, Devon Brown. This time he makes the grab, and the Mountaineers have taken a 9-6 lead. Well, you mentioned exploiting the middle of that defense, and this time they did it, and Brown was wide open.
And Brown and Urban almost interchangeable. They played the same position, so the Mountaineers came back and ran that exact same play. Fake the run, hit the tight end, or the inside slot receiver over the middle, and it's getting wide open.
And maybe a little bit of that success running the ball helped freeze those linebackers, give them a little room over the top as Bittencourt kicks it through, and West Virginia finally, with 5:53 remaining in this second quarter, has their first lead of the afternoon.
And that's good. Maybe now these guys will get some confidence and, get Norfolk State's defense off of the field because they were on the field for a long time right there. And they got really tired. The defensive linemen couldn't handle it.
As a fan watching this game, I'm sure a lot of these fans thinking there's an air of inevitability almost about this game. Okay, they've got the lead. Eventually, we're going to catch fire. Eventually, we're going to get going. You would think on the side of the underdog, the Norfolk State Spartans, there's got to be an uh-oh factor at some point in this game. That would mean to me that this possession would be very important for the Spartans to try to get something accomplished, get some sort of rhythm. If not score, at least get a couple of first downs to let West Virginia know that the football game hasn't ended here because they've taken the lead.
Yes, and Coach over there, he caught that timeout, Coach Adrian. He knew what was going to happen. He said, listen, guys, this is very important because now they're giving the Mountaineers the lead. Everything that they've done has sort of been erased, and now they got to come back and get another big play from their offense.
First career touchdown as a West Virginia Mountaineer for Devon Brown, capping the 11-play, 81-yard drive. Now here's the boot, and it was taken by Hairston. Hairston crosses the 20. Hairston crosses the 30. Hairston gets out to the 35-yard line, so a positive return by Victor Hairston before Broderick Jenkins drops him right around that 35-yard line. I think maybe the Spartans are going to be counted out of this game. They do a little something to kind of give themselves a little bit of life as we take a look at that scoring play, the 18-yard touchdown reception for Devon Brown. Can mention the leading receiver at Wake Forest the last couple of years.
Yeah, these guys are playing pretty hard, man. You got to give the Spartans a lot of credit. They've come out. They haven't been scared at all in this environment. It's a tough environment for them, but they played well.
Wally's the quarterback. Quick pass out. It is complete. And this is Lewis, and Lewis is going to get out to about the 45-yard line. So Kelvin Lewis going to pick up about 9 yards on that first down play before Terrence Garvin forces him out of bounds.
And that play almost takes the place of a running play. So this is like an extension of the run. They throw it out, they pick it up, and they see where they had the mismatch out there, and they got 9-10 yards.
Going to bring up a 2nd and short. Under 5.5 minutes and counting remaining in the second quarter. West Virginia has just taken their first lead of the game up 10-6 here at Mountaineer Field. Hairston comes in motion. High snap and the inside handoff to Hairston. Hairston has to spin away from Tandy, and it looks like he's going to pick up the first down.
Yes, the Spartans got a first down on that play, but again, the snap was high, almost threw the quarterback off a little bit. He has to watch. He's not going to snap that ball over the quarterback's head one of these plays.
And that was Bruce Irvin, I beg your pardon, not Tandy. And in the stop, Bruce Irvin has been very active. Again, frustrating, I would think, for a pass rusher with these quick sets. You know, as a defensive lineman, these quick sets, it's hard to get to that quarterback and get that pressure on.
It is. That has to make you work hard on first and second down so you can get a 3rd and long situation and take advantage of guys like Bruce Irvin out there.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. Wally will give, and chopped down in the backfield is Maines, and it was Casey Vance, the linebacker, who shot in and dropped Randy Maines for a loss.
You see the linebacker shot the gap right there, and the Mountaineers are being a little bit more aggressive defensively. Jeff Castile is going to dial up some more blitzes because he's starting to get a feel for the Norfolk State offense.
2nd and 12. Wally remains in the game at quarterback. Clock ticking down. And you bet one thing, they'd love to pick up another first down and make sure West Virginia doesn't get the ball back this half, but first things first, to 2nd and 12. Pump fake and to throw, and it is complete to Boyce. Boyce takes a lick from Darwin Cook, but it is still enough for a first down. Xavier Boyce, a big first half continuing for him.
And this is what we talked about earlier, that fake screen to get the defense thinking that they see the play and they know it's coming, and the wide receiver slips up the field wide open. Safety's a little late coming over to get the big hit.
Down to the 37-yard line, Xavier Boyce, the transfer from Virginia Tech, has had a huge game already for the Spartans. And the give, this is Hedgeman. Hedgeman has a big hole, and Hedgeman going to pick up close to first down yardage on that run. And it looks like he's going to get the 10 he needed.
And like you said before, what they're doing now is eating up a lot of clock, and they're getting yards, so they're going to have an opportunity to either kick a field goal or get a touchdown and go back up on the Mountaineers.
Pick up the first down. 3:20 remaining and counting here in this first half. Spartans looking to pull a shocker. Have led most of this game, and now a chance to add some more points here before the end of the first half. Wally will fake. Step up, looking, going to throw one deep, way over the head of his intended receiver and nearly intercepted by Pat Miller. Was intended for Xavier Boyce, but the pressure got to Wally that time.
Yeah, it was pressure by Bruce Irvin. I think if he would have kept his feet and just ran through the quarterback, he may have gotten a sack, but it looked like he stopped a little bit, not sure what the quarterback was going to do. And you got to make this catch right. This would have turned the game around.
Instead, the Spartans retain possession here at the 27-yard line.
And those plays sometimes come back and bite you. If you give up a touchdown, you're going to be thinking about that one all day.
2:53 remaining. Wally getting the call in this loud environment to his offensive line. Now settles back into the shotgun. Quick throw out to Boyce, and Boyce hit immediately and dropped by Pat Miller.
Tackled by Pat Miller.
Start to see those plays over and over again. It's almost like, a game of chess right here. Okay, we're going to show you this play, and then sneak it behind you the next play.
Well, a loss of a yard on that one as Pat Miller had that possible interception just off his fingertips. Now comes up and makes the stop on second down. 3rd and 11. Clock still rolling.
Great matchup here between Bruce Irvin and Noble here, the left tackle.
Play clock under 5. Wally gets it off. Throws complete. The 25-yard line. This is Demps, and Demps not going to gain much more than that. The 22-yard line, Ian Smith was the first one in to make the stop.
Yeah, that was a good stop right there by the Mountaineers defense, and looks like they're going to try to run some clock down, not to give Geno Smith any more time than he needs to get back down the other side of the field. They didn't block Bruce here. They had a little slide protection away from him, tried to cut him with the running back, and they had some time to get the ball out to the receiver.
But once again, making this a more manageable field goal attempt for Estep, a 39-yard attempt, and also they kept it inbounds, so that clock continues to run. Estep's 39-yard attempt is up, and Estep's kick is good. So 3 successful field goals, 2 by Estep, 1 by Everett Goldberg, and the Spartans get on the board again. And we talked about the importance of this drive for them, to let the Mountaineers know and maybe let themselves know that this is still a football game.
Yeah, these guys came out ready to play. The Spartans, started the game out very aggressively, and they've ended the game, or they ended the half very aggressively as well. So it's 10-9 right now. The Mountaineers still have an opportunity with a return here or a drive by Geno to get down there and get an end zone.
Had a chance to talk to Coach Dana Holgorsen earlier this week, obviously putting in a brand new scheme, inheriting some personnel that maybe doesn't fit ideally in that scheme, trying to get things figured out offensively. He talked about the expectations for his team's execution to improve.
When it's a new scheme, you're going to run into some hiccups now and then, and then you got to figure out, what guys' strengths are and what their weaknesses are and what you got to improve on in practice. And then, effort's a thing that's got to take place on every play of every game.
So it is difficult. I mean, you come in, you have to, some of these guys are brand new and can soak it up. But even for those guys that are soaking it up, if they're new, it's still college football. It's a new level. And for other guys, learning things differently than what they'd learned before under a new coaching regime. So,
yeah, and there's one thing to do on practice field. You got to do it in the game, and I think that's where they're struggling at this point.
Stedman Bailey on the return, crosses the 20, and then bottled up there. Gets out to about the 23-yard line before he's taken down. And the helmet being scooped up there. It was a Darren Merrow who was in on the stop as well as Marcel Koch, and it was Koch who lost his helmet, but still got in.
It was impressive. He lost his helmet and ran another 10 yards to make the tackle. These guys are out here fighting, and they came ready to play.
So a minute 17 left. The 2-minute drill is shortened a little bit here for quarterback Geno Smith, as he's going to try to get the Mountaineers on the board one more time before this half comes to an end. Empty set for Smith. Back to pass. Looking, and is going to be wrestled down, and there's going to be a sack on the play.
And that's one thing in a 2-minute drill you can't have a sack, and it was a 3-man rush, so there's no way that guy should have gotten there. This is the first time all day that they've gotten pressure from a 3-man rush, but Barkley has to do a better job of keeping his man out of there.
And it was Terrence Pugh who just kept coming and coming and coming and made the sack. Now the handoff to Garrison, and Garrison will get out to about the 20 to the 22-yard line before he's taken down, and West Virginia will use a timeout.
West Virginia, first team, timeout. 30 seconds.
Yeah, this was just a play to try to get some yards back, but still, if I'm the Spartans, I'm guarding against any big plays, any fake runs. I'm letting them have that little stuff, but you can't let them slip behind you.
And so Dana Holgorsen clearly trying to get something out of this last drive here. Kind of an aggressive call with 45 seconds remaining on a 3rd and 12 to call the timeout. You've got the 10-9 lead, but I don't think Coach Holgorsen's going to be very pleased with the way his team, especially offensively, is executed here in this first half. And his defense has given up a number of big plays.
Yeah, all the way around, guys are just struggling. But you saw him looking right there at the offensive line. I can't believe you let him get that sack there, because in a 2-minute drill, the sack will kill anything.
And Quentin Spain, that was a guy indicated to you, the 6'5", 348-pounder, who's going to come in and see some time. Not pleased with the way that offensive line has been performing, so he is in the game for Jeff Braun at that left guard position. Back to pass, plenty of time. Now flushed out a little bit. You have to throw it underneath, and incomplete to Devon Brown. So Geno Smith just could not find any open receivers downfield. With 36 seconds left, the clock stops, and West Virginia will be forced to punt.
And this is, again, a 3-man rush. plenty of time. Nobody's getting open. Looks like the receivers aren't running hard enough to get open, and they can't find the zones to sit into. So I think Dana going into here at halftime, they got to design some more plays to attack the middle of the field.
So back to punt will be Corey Smith for the Mountaineers, 10-9. And who knows, if the Spartans can get a good return, they may look to score some more points before this half comes to an end. And Smith with a short kick off the side of his foot, and they're going to get outstanding field position. The Spartans will have the ball at the 35-yard line after a short shank kick by Corey Smith, and the Spartans will have a chance to take the lead here before the end of this first half.
Yeah, I think they will try to get another play or two, about 5 or 10 yards, and let the field goal kicker come in and get a kick. I mean, that was a gift from the punter to the Spartans right there.
Ball's going to be marked at the 37-yard line. Wally will come in. Again, no timeouts left for the Spartans, just 29 seconds on the clock. So you're thinking a couple of completions, and we saw again earlier in this half the long field goal by Everett Goldberg of 50 yards. So they don't have to pick up much to give Goldberg a crack at the lead. Wally rolling out under pressure from Irvin, and he's just going to be forced to throw it away. Bruce Irvin, an excellent job here in pass rush, and there's a flag late.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 11, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Maybe a little too quick to praise Bruce Irvin there as he came up with a late hit after that pursuit.
Yeah, I think that was questionable, but with that, you know why this is so big? Because the Spartans didn't have any timeout, so they had to get a good completion and get out of bounds. Now, this already puts them in field goal range, so that was a horrible penalty by Bruce there, but that was still a questionable call.
At the 22-yard line, 24 seconds remaining. Wally will give to Hedgeman, and these guys, they're going to have to hurry up and spike the ball here. Look like they're going to be content, it would seem, to just get one field goal attempt off. Wally's taking his time up there. 8 seconds left, 7. And it looks like they're just going to take it, spike it, and hope that they can get the field goal from Estep and take this lead at the first half. So the Spartans electing to play it a little bit conservatively there on that final play, but Pete Adrian's team has a chance, improbably, to take a halftime lead over the Mountaineers.
Yeah, and you give Pete Adrian a lot of credit. He had his team ready to play. They came out shooting all of their bullets out of their guns, and the Mountaineers looked to be sitting back all game, and now they have an opportunity to take the lead. I wouldn't want to be in this locker room at halftime.
West Virginia's going to call a timeout, and so that sinking feeling of, uh-oh, what are we going to hear at halftime is going to wait another 30 seconds while this timeout ticks away here. And Dana Holgorsen, as you mentioned, not pleased clearly at his weekly press conference. You talked to him yesterday. He did not appear real happy with his team's execution at that point, and you can bet he is not going to be happy after 30 minutes here in this first half today against the Spartans.
And this has nothing to do with playing a smaller school or anything like that. You want to see your offense execute. You want to see your defense execute. So I know a lot of people will say, well, they weren't ready to play and this and that. They weren't sharp. They didn't execute it all. So Dana's probably more upset with that than, hey, my guys didn't come out ready to play. Because I'm sure they were ready, but the Spartans looked to be a lot sharper than the Mountaineers.
This will be the final play of the first half. Estep's kick is up, and Ryan Estep's kick is good. And Norfolk State, in a shocking first 30 minutes here at Mountaineer Field, leading number 19 West Virginia by a score of 12-10. And John, this is shocking to say the least.
It is. It's shocking. It's the first half, but this will tell you that football is football no matter where you play. A lot of these guys on the Spartans roster, they played with some of the guys on the Mountaineers, I'm sure, played against them. You got to go out and play. Like I said, you got to go out and execute. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. And the Mountaineers need reps against quality defense and quality offense. So they have to get in there at halftime, find some good plays to run against this team.
Norfolk State Spartans getting some big plays offensively in the first half, and defensively doing enough to slow down West Virginia. Coach Dana Holgorsen joining us now. And Coach, I'm sure not pleased with the offensive execution in the first half here.
No, we haven't done a whole lot right here. We've they're giving us the run and we're not able to sustain blocks, and then that allows them to drop out a lot of people into coverage, which we're not able to get open either. So,
Coach, with 3 guys rushing the quarterback, Geno has a lot of time. Is there any plays that can kind of get those guys out of that soft defense?
Yeah, you run the ball, and if we're not able to run the ball on the 4 people in the box, it's going to be a long season.
All right, Coach, thanks very much.
Yep.
Coach Dana Holgorsen obviously not very happy with the way his team has performed here in this first half. The Norfolk State Spartans, an FCS team, coming up to Morgantown looking to pull a shocker. They're halfway home. They lead by a score of 12-10 over West Virginia here at Mountaineer Field. John Thornton and I back with a halftime report when we return after this.
As our great nation pauses this weekend to reflect and remember the
Aren't laying down. They're going to come out and keep being aggressive. But guys like Tavon Austin got to take it on himself to really get this team turned around.
Everett Goldberg getting set to kick things off as we're ready to begin the second half here at Mountaineer Field. In the boot, and they'll go short again, and this time Austin will take it at the 16. Austin heads straight up field, finds a seam, flag comes flying in as Austin crosses the 50-yard line, crosses the 40, and gets down near the 35-yard line. Again, a flag behind the play, and another flag behind the play. So we're going to have 2 separate infractions here. And it looked like the second one was the result of a little battle between a couple of players. So let's wait and get this all straightened out here. The officials conferring, and we'll get the call from Todd LaPena, today's referee.
The coach is getting after his guy because he got a penalty. That may have been against the Mountaineers. Now they may all set.
Illegal block in the back. On the return time, number 35. Personal foul on number 57. Will be enforced. Down.
So it was Marcel Koch who picked up the penalty. So Austin with a big return. They're going to march 10 yards back one way and then 15 yards back the other way. And then we'll know at that point exactly where the ball is going to be spotted.
Yeah, they have to find a way, I think, to get Tavon the ball a little more. Like you said, he's very explosive as a player. He's a return man. He can play running back. Obviously, he's a slot receiver. They got to get the ball to him a little more.
And Austin, the big return. But again, they march the 10 back as we take one more look at it again. And it looks like maybe we saw the hold there at the very top of our screen. But one thing I think you're going to like there if you're Dana Holgorsen is the ball is now going to be at the 49-yard line. We saw a lot of players being knocked backwards here for the Spartans. So maybe some renewed enthusiasm here to begin the second half.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they're going to give up on the run or not, or just let Geno try to win this game because you're in survival mode right now. You have to come out and win.
And in motion is Austin. Give is to Roberts. Roberts has some room and then cuts back into a defender and is going to be stopped after a short gain on first down.
And there was a hole on that play. It looked like the running back, being a young guy, didn't hit the right hole because it's very wide. You can see right here, there's a offensive lineman's back.
And that's tough for Tyler Rader there. He was blocking Corwin Hammond, but Roberts cut right into him. So a short gain there of 3 brings up a 2nd and 7. Smith back. Smith fires deep, has a man out there. It is complete. And it is Tavon Austin who's going to pick up the big gain inside the 10 and down to the 7. I beg your pardon, it was Stedman Bailey who made the reception there.
He's another guy that can make big plays for you on the outside, and that was set up by the run that time. But Geno can make that throw. I also think the middle of the field is going to get open pretty soon.
Marcus Center makes the stop, but it's inside the 10-yard line for quarterback Geno Smith. Smith throws again, corner of the end zone, and incomplete for Bailey, but he was held on the play by Center, and a flag comes in.
Flag on the play. Center depending on the play.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 13. Happens to the goal. First down.
This is a very difficult throw. It has to be on the money, and obviously he was held. But the Mountaineers must see something to that play. They run it like 4 times now. They really like their chances with it because they keep running it.
Well, they had little success trying to run the ball inside the 5-yard line on their last trip down here. Who had to wind up settling for a field goal. Let's see what they choose to do here. Smith's going to change the play at the line. Play clock under 10. Smith will give to Roberts, and Roberts cuts up the middle and in for the touchdown. So Bernard Roberts gives the West Virginia Mountaineers the lead with his 3-yard touchdown run.
And that's what Dana Holgerson was talking about before the half. If we can't run the ball with 4 or 5 guys in the box, we're in trouble. So they got good push with the offensive line, and the running back just had to make one cut, and he was in the end zone.
So the Mountaineers got down there before, actually were able to run 7 offensive plays thanks to a penalty in the end zone and couldn't get the score. This time they get the touchdown, take the lead. Extra point by Bitcourt is up, and it's good. And the Mountaineers early on here in this third quarter have taken the lead over Norfolk State, 17-12. Bernard Roberts with a touchdown run. The Mountaineers lead by 5. Bernard Roberts, the freshman, with a score and a smile as the West Virginia Mountaineers get their second lead of the game. His short touchdown run capping the 3-play 51-yard drive, just a minute 1. So talk about coming out and maybe making an early statement, John, that things are going to be a little different here in the second half.
Yeah, and that's one thing the coaches always say at halftime is we're going to take the ball and go down and score. And the Mountaineers did it. The coaches have to be happy. Now we're going to see if the defense can get a 3 and out. That will really change the game.
Corey Smith with the boot. Harrison's going to go a yard deep into the end zone. He's going to get it out. Crosses the 10, crosses the 15, and now he is hemmed in and he has nowhere to go, and he's going to be taken down right around the 15-yard line. Another flag comes flying in late after the conclusion of the play. It begins with a special teams play here for the Mountaineers. And let's get the call.
Personal foul. Number 17. First down.
And Josh Francis gets the call here.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen you can't get penalties on your kickoff team like this, and you're giving these guys free yards, but you still want to see the defense come here, use the momentum that the offense had, and try to get a 3 and out.
So Dana Holgerson sees that 15 yards marched off out to the 30-yard line, but he's also seen, despite the penalties, a renewed vigor on the special teams, and his offense has done a good job as well. Now, as John Thornton mentioned, up to the defense. Chris Wally in for the Spartans at quarterback. Throws out to Hairston in the flat. Hairston will cross the 30, get out to the 35, perhaps the 36. Darwin Cook on the stop defensively for the Mountaineers.
And the cornerback has to continue to do a good job here of allowing this run to cut back. You can't let the run get outside him like it almost did, because all his help is coming back in from the inside.
So good positive gain for Chris Wally, and the Spartans offense on first down brings up a 2nd and 4. Wally hands to Hedgeman. Hedgeman will find a little room, and Hedgeman will get out to the 40-yard line and apparently pick up enough for a first down. The signal is first down for the Spartans.
First down.
And what this is going to do is just calm his team down. The Spartans came out, got a first down. I was expecting the Mountaineers to get a 3 and out. Obviously, that didn't happen. They had to keep playing hard.
Wally in the shotgun. Again, wanders up to the line of scrimmage, gets the play change. Lineman, because it can get loud here at Mountaineer Field. Make sure everybody's on the same page. 7 seconds on the play clock. Wally the fake. Back, looking and running, and is just going to throw this one away.
Wally's pass incomplete.
Doug Rigg defensively there for the Mountaineers in pursuit of Wally.
Yeah, and the Spartans looked like they tried to catch the Mountaineers and sleep on defense because they just ran a one receiver route, the fake run, and then try to get it deep, but the pressure came and he had to throw it away.
We'll give credit to Wally and the Spartans attack. They've been able to move the football against the Mountaineers. Haven't gotten into the end zone yet, though. Trailing by 5. Critical juncture of this game. Spartans trying to rally from the Mountaineers' touchdown to lead off this second half. Another snap that was trouble, but Hedgeman able to get it and wrestled out of bounds along the far sideline. But again, even with the bobbled snap, as Terrence Garvin made the stop defensively, they were able to pick up about 5 yards on this
Yeah,
play.
and this is a poor job with whoever's on the defensive end, and they look like they got distracted by the bad snap. But you got to stay outside because everything inside was bottled up. And that's the only place the ball could go, and that's where it went.
Amazing, deflected from Wally right into the hands of Hedgeman, and we've seen that 3 or 4 times now. Fortuitous bounces for the Spartans offense.
And that snap's been bad all day. I'm telling you, one of them's going to go over that quarterback head. They're going everywhere.
3rd and 4. Wally, the fake, and now tries to throw it deep, instead nearly picked off.
Wally's pass broken
As
up.
clearly he and Xavier Boyce were not on the same page, and Tandy, in the top 10 in the nation in interceptions a year ago, the Big East leader, almost came up with this one.
And Tandy's probably surprised. Majority of his interceptions have come off of tip passes, and now he had an opportunity to make that play. But it's a good job of getting off the field. Now you're giving your offense the ball back, and they look to have some rhythm going.
So back to punt will be Troy Menzer. Menzer boots it out of there, and it's a good one. And Tavon Austin's going to let it bounce, and it is going to be stopped, but then a collision in the end zone. And the Spartans lose an opportunity to pin the Mountaineers deep. West Virginia has taken the lead. They get the ball back, up 17-12, 11:44 remaining in the 3rd quarter here at Mountaineer Field. Back at Mountaineer Field, number 19, West Virginia has taken the lead over Norfolk State 17-12. They've gotten the ball back, and so they're going to look to do a little more damage here in the second half against the Norfolk State Spartans. Quarterback Geno Smith remains in the game. Smith has time, throws down the middle, has a man wide open. It's Garrison, the running back. He makes the grab, crosses midfield, and gets down to the 45-yard line of the Spartans.
Yeah, that middle of the field had to open up. They're rushing 3 guys. He has time. He's been throwing on the outside now, so the middle of the field's been wide open. The guys have to be falling asleep if you're playing defense for the Spartans.
Garrison, the freshman running back, a very young running back crew here for the Mountaineers. And to give to Garrison. Garrison will find the edge on the left side, cross the 40, and get down near the 30-yard line before he's forced out of bounds by Nat Turner Harris, and a late flag coming in on the play again.
And part of the problem with the run game has been the lack of patience by the running backs, and now they look like they're showing a little more patience.
Garrison, I beg your pardon.
Personal foul. Defense, number 13. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That was Marcus Center who was flagged. Nat Turner Harris had the initial tackle here. That's substantially late.
Yeah, late, and the guy's being aggressive, but you got to watch it on the sideline. Sometimes you got to pull up.
Garrison, Bernard Robertson, Andrew Bowie, 3 freshman running backs for the Mountaineers. Garrison tried that little swing pass out there, incomplete. And it's going to bring up a 2nd and 10. Garrison out of Texas ran for 2,842 yards his senior year, setting state records in yardage attempts and 46 touchdowns.
Wow, it was pretty explosive, and now he's seeing what big-time college football is about.
A little bit of an adjustment.
Yes.
He's to the sidecar to the left to Smith. Back to pass. Looking. And moves out to his right, trying to wave McCartney down. And McCartney, and they're going to be a flag there as well. So the broken play, and Geno Smith valuable. You said not the scrambler like Pat White, but the fact that he kept that play alive and was able to get it downfield.
Defense, number 43. Automatic first down.
And that led to the penalty by Cooper Wood.
Yeah, it looked like the cornerback, he panicked once he got in the end zone because he couldn't see the ball. So once he saw the receiver go up in the air, he thought the ball was coming, and he put his hands in his chest, and that's an obvious pass interference call.
Goal to go at the 2.
And incomplete in the corner of the end zone, but all the way down to the 2-yard line with the penalty. So West Virginia back in business again. Quick scoring drive to begin this 3rd quarter, now looking for more. And the handoff off the right side, and not much doing there for Andrew Bowie, trying to get Bowie into the end zone. And Bowie is denied and may have even lost a yard in the play.
Yeah, it looks like they didn't get a lot of movement up front. And then the running back once again runs up the back of his offensive lineman. So that play was done from the start.
You saw that penetration and the pulling guard, Braun back in the game, just couldn't get around to the hole. So a loss on the play. 2nd and goal from the 3. And this time the fake and the throw into the end zone and the touchdown to Tavon Austin. And the Mountaineers have extended the lead to 11, 23-12.
That was an excellent play fake by Gino right there because he had me fooled. I was looking for the running back to get in, but, you know, he had the Spartans defense fooled as well.
And a beautiful throw from Geno Smith to Tavon Austin.
And Geno's played well. He's made some big throws today, some tough throws on the sideline, but he's the one guy Dana Holgson is counting on to get his offense going in tough times like this.
Bittencourt will be on to try the extra point. And his boot is up, and it is good. And this West Virginia Mountaineers team has looked completely different than they did in the first half. 2 quick touchdowns, and the 19th ranked Mountaineers are on top of the Norfolk State Spartans by a score of 24-12 here at Mountaineer Field. Back at Mountaineer Field, the West Virginia Mountaineers have used 8 plays. It has taken them 2 minutes and 33 seconds combined. They've scored 2 touchdowns this last drive, 5 plays, 80 yards. Austin, who has 4 receptions for 72 yards and a touchdown, gets the touchdown catch here, and West Virginia leads by a score of 24-12. Oh, and neither guy is going to want to pick that up, and Maines is going to have to retreat all the way to his 6-yard line. And Maines gets to the 10, and then he's chopped down as he gets across the 10 to the 12. So just a miscommunication back there. And it looks like Norfolk State needs to regain their composure a little bit.
Yeah, as we talked about during the break, they're starting to lose their cool a little bit with the penalties, starting to give up some big plays that they didn't give up in the first half. With a smaller school, a lot of times when you go into the half with a lead, you may not have been expecting it. You may feel like you won the game already. So hopefully these guys settle down a little bit and keep playing.
And it is Nico Flores who checks back into the game at the quarterback position for the Spartans. A transfer from the University of Central Florida, playing in his first year for Norfolk State. Flores will keep it himself. Hit by Casey Vance as he gets out to about the 15-yard line. So good solid tackle and a very short gain there for Flores.
Yeah, trying to come out, run a little bit of the wildcat action. You expect a pass play to start to come off of that, but they have to keep the Mountaineers defense honest with running plays like that.
We talked a little bit about the fact that they have 7 starters gone from that defense. It was one of the top-ranked defense in the country, the Mountaineers, a year ago, as we get ready for this 2nd and 9 for Flores at the quarterback position. Flores will keep again. And Flores, they don't wrap him up, and he's going to pick up first down yardage out to the 24-yard line. So going, and he picks up the first down as Terrence Garvin finally makes the stop.
Yeah, he's a very talented player. He's strong. He gets in the hole. He gets hit. He keeps going. The Mountaineers falling off. So they have to realize that he's the playmaker when he has the ball, so you need to key on him. And like I said, if they keep having success running that, watch out for the pass deep.
7 starters, as we mentioned a moment ago, coming back, or not coming back from that defense. It was so highly ranked a year ago. And you said one of the keys was gel defensively. Anything in specific you're looking for out there now from this Mountaineers defense?
Well, I think the problem when you have a lot of guys leave, the players that are replacing them are good players, but they're used to being behind somebody. They're used to other guys being sort of the fire starter and getting things going. They lost, like I said, a lot of good players went to the NFL, but now these guys are expected to step up and be the ones to get the team going, and they're not. So a lot of times you have guys that are front runners getting anything going.
Pickup of about 4 yards on that pass from Flores out to Xavier Boyce.
And it takes a little while for guys to really get in that leadership role and knowing what it's like to play every down and be accountable.
Do you see that in practice as well? Is it the same thing in practice? Guys maybe getting more reps now or understanding what it takes to prepare themselves to be a starter?
It is, and you got to do it every play. It's not just in practice. You got to come out and do it in the games. And they're still missing tackles, but now they're getting guys to the ball, so they're a little more excited. But it's definitely a transition from guys being on the bench to now being the guy that has to go in and produce.
It was Doug Rigg who made the stop. Irvin, who had the initial hit.
Yeah, and Bruce did a good job right there playing against the run, which is one of the knocks against him. He's going to have to do a lot more of that this year. I know a lot of NFL scouts are wondering if he's an every down player at the next level.
14 sacks a year ago, number 2 in the nation for that highly rated West Virginia defense. Now a 3rd and long, 3rd and 7. And Wally is checked back in at quarterback. Wally back, under pressure, looking in big trouble, nearly intercepted. And the pressure too much for Wally that time. Irvin and others in pursuit, and the Spartans will be forced to punt.
And that was a very good possession by Bruce Irvin. He played the run on the second down, got it to 3rd and long where he can do what he does best. But like I said before, the guys on that opposite side of him have to stay outside because most likely he's going to force them that way with the pressure. And you can get an easy sack. I mean, that's one thing players don't understand. If you just go where you're supposed to go, you may get a sack.
Troy Menzer back to punt. Austin back to receive. Here's the boot from Menzer. A liner that Austin will take at his 26. Makes the first man miss. Now looking for some help. Gets to the sideline and gets out to about the 40-yard line. So very good field position for West Virginia, and this Mountaineers offense has looked completely different, John, in the second half.
And the Spartans have given Geno Smith time all day. Usually the West Virginia offense was going on the outside. Now they're hitting him in the middle, starting to run the ball. So they can open their whole playbook up now because a lot of plays are starting to work. But it's all key with the protection up front and Geno Smith making the big plays.
Well, this is one of those games, I mean, no coach ever says this, but as a fan, maybe even as a player, your expectation is if you're a backup, hey, I'm going to get a chance to get in this game. So if you're a backup, you're saying, hey, hurry up and score some more points so I can get in and play some here in the 4th quarter.
And you know what? That's something that hurt the Mountaineers in the past. They had a lot of backups that didn't play. They ended up transferring because they didn't get playing time. So when you have games like this, you want to, if you're better than their team, you want to get your lead backups in.
Roberts picks up about 5 on that first down run. Terrence Pugh makes the stop here.
Yeah, and they're still sticking with that 3-man, up front and the 1-man in the box. And the Mountaineers want to say, if you're going to play 4 in the box, we're going to run the ball.
And the give to Tavon Austin. And Austin going to have to scramble to get back to the line of scrimmage, dives back to the 45-yard line, so no gain, brings up the 3rd and 5. And you mentioned that they're trying to find different ways to get Austin the ball, kick returner, punt returner, wide receiver. If you can get him a couple of carries as well, he is an electrifying playmaker.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to run the ball, you're going to get it in between that nose guard and that defensive end because there's a big gap in there, and they don't have many people in the box to stop the run. So running to the outside might not be the best thing.
Smith back to pass, looking, and we have a flag on the play. Austin with a reception, another late hit out of bounds. And so we have 2 separate flags on this play.
2 flags on the play.
And we'll wait to see how things get sorted out here with referee Todd LaPenta. Officials huddling on this one. Well, one was clearly a late hit out of bounds. Whether the second one was a hold or some sort of illegal pick remains to be seen. Pete Adrian looking on, and as you mentioned, the late hits and some other things, maybe his team losing some composure.
We have 2 fouls on play, both against the defense. We have personal foul, hands to the face on the defense. We have, after play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds against the defense, first down.
And it's a shame because the Spartans have played such a good game. And now they're starting to hurt themselves. They had penalties early on, but they sort of overcame them. But now the penalties are starting to hurt. You're making stupid plays like that, 2 penalties on 1 play. And so they keep this up, the score is going to get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, and Yago's hit was just way out of bounds. By the way, I mentioned Quinton Spain, the freshman who came in earlier in the game. He's along that offensive line because Dana Holgorsen liked the way he was practicing, was not real happy with the way his offensive line was performing. He's getting some ice on that ankle, so maybe one bit of bad news in the second half for the Mountaineers. But look at this march. Holy mackerel. The penalty takes it all the way down to the 14-yard line.
Yeah, that's a shame. Like I said, they played well. You see guys out there talking, trying to really get under the skin of the Mountaineer players. You don't have to do that. Just keep playing. You've been playing well, and now you're going to give a team more yards than they even deserve.
Trey Johnson in motion. Empty set for Geno Smith. Back to pass. Looking. Flag comes in late, lofted for the corner of the end zone. Austin is out of bounds on the play, and we have a flag, and it looks like it's going to be in that area of holding, so it's going to march the Mountaineers back.
Holding. Offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
So it's Don Barclay, the senior left tackle, who gets the call.
You should have 0 penalties on a 3-man rush, and it's not like these guys are speed rushers or they've been beating the tackles around the edge. So, you know, the offensive tackle just got a little bit lazy, didn't move his feet, and he extended his hands and held him a little bit.
As a defensive tackle, what is the I would imagine some frustration in a 3-man rush. It's hard to get in there and get the quarterback.
Yeah, if you're the nose guard, you're frustrated because you're getting hit by, you know, the center, the guard, and 2 different people, so it's tough.
Screen play set up. This is Garrison, and Garrison gets to the 20-yard line, and he's tripped up there by Ricardo Volson, the only one who appeared to be between Garrison in the end zone, and Volson makes the stop.
But it seems like that's the plan of the Spartans, is to rush 3, sit back, not let this explosive offense get down the field and make them earn it. And hopefully the Mountaineers make mistakes is probably what the Spartans are thinking.
Some of the crowd thought maybe that was a little leg whip action by Ricardo Volson on the stop on Garrison. No call, 2nd and long. Garrison in motion. Smith back to pass. Looking, throws towards the corner, and it is complete to Devon Brown, who's going to haul it in right around the 1-yard line. And so the Mountaineers will have 1st and goal to go from the 1.
Yeah, that was a big throw by Gino, getting it out to the sideline. Good protection, 3-man rush. The Spartans are wearing down on defense. I think they need to substitute their defensive line a little more.
The give to Garrison off the right side, and Garrison goes into the end zone for the score, but there is a flag.
Flag on the flag.
And let's see what this is before we put the points up on the board for West Virginia.
Illegal substitution. Defense. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
It's going downhill fast.
Well, Dana Holgerson gets the touchdown here from Garrison, and I'm sure that the Mountaineer faithful here at Milan Puskar Stadium are seeing more of what they expected to see going into this game here in the second half.
Yes, a tale of 2 halves. You know, the Spartans dominated the first half in yards, and they dominated in effort. And now you see the Spartans dominating in penalties. You know, they shoot themselves in the foot. The Mountaineers are taking advantage of it. So, tale of 2 halves. One team played poorly the first half. Now the Mountaineers are playing good this half.
Bittencourt boots it through. Tyler Bittencourt, again, a guy, and going into this season, you know, everyone talks about the offense under Dana Holgerson, but the defense is a big story with only 4 starters coming back from that dominating defense. Can Bittencourt get back to being the kicker he was a couple of years ago? Had a bit of a groin issue last year. We mentioned the block kicks. He's missed one here today, but there are a lot of different things. You know, all of a sudden you get into the teeth of the schedule, and you're going to start playing, you know, at Maryland next week and LSU coming up, and there are some things here Dana Holgerson needs to see straightened out. Hopefully he's going to see some of those for his sake here in this second half.
Yeah, and they have to continue to play, because it's not about what the Spartans are doing right now. The Mountaineers have to still figure themselves out, because they don't know who they are. I don't know who they are right now. I don't know what kind of defense they're going to have, what kind of offense. Is it a high-octane offense? Can they continue to do it? So you got to keep playing. I see guys smiling on the sideline. You know, you may have a lead now, but you still have to sort of develop an identity.
Corey Smith with the run-up, and Harrison's going to take it at his 11-yard line. Crosses the 20, and that's about all he's going to get when he gets out to the 26-yard line. The Mountaineers take the 31-12 lead on Dustin Garrison's first career touchdown. Here's the Big East preseason media poll, and West Virginia a strong pick to win the conference, followed by Pitt and then South Florida, which really made a statement with their victory at Notre Dame, followed by Syracuse, Cincinnati, Connecticut, Louisville, and Rutgers. Your thoughts about that poll, and do you think that's an accurate portrayal heading into conference play?
I think so. You have 2 ranked teams in West Virginia and South Florida, probably the 2 top teams in the division. Cincinnati played well last week. They play Tennessee tonight. Pittsburgh will be 2-0. So it's a pretty good start for the division.
Wally in at quarterback, and the handoff off the right side. Cook comes up and makes the big hit, and both players involved in that collision slow to get up, as it was Hedgeman and Cook with a big collision here.
Yeah, that was a good job by the safety coming up and filling that hole because everything was sort of compressed in the middle, and the guys did a good job of keeping contained and letting the free player make the tackle.
Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. When the season began, and West Virginia was the only ranked team in the Big East at 24, and that just in the AP poll. They're now ranked in both polls, and South Florida, as you said, has gotten themselves into the poll. And pass downfield, and Boyce looked like he wasn't sure if that was for him or not. Stopped running on the route.
Yeah, that would have been a tough pass. He would have got hit if he would have caught it, so maybe he was thinking about that, but you know, just a little bit of confusion between the quarterback and the receiver right there. Yeah, he pumped the ball, didn't know what he was doing, so the team is falling apart right now. They got to find a big play to sort of get them back on track.
3rd and 8, 4 minutes even remaining here in this third quarter, which has been tilted entirely in the direction of the Mountaineers. 3 touchdowns to spring out to the 31-12 lead. They're trailing 12-10 at the half. Fake by Wally, and they tried to get the screen the other way, but Tandy was there to get inside the passing lane and force the incompletion. And once again, the Spartans will need to kick.
Yeah, and what you're seeing now is, you know, everybody on the Mountaineers team, they're into the game now. And what I talked about before, having front runners, you know, when the game was even or the other team was playing well, those young guys on the Mountaineer defense were sort of standing around waiting for the veterans to make a play. Now that the game looks like it's going to be, you know, going to the Mountaineers' way, you see the young guys now excited and they're making plays as well.
Menzer just does get it off, but the pressure looked like it bothered him, and it's off the side of his foot, and West Virginia is going to find themselves with excellent field position here on their 4th possession of the third quarter, and they've scored touchdowns on the first 3 possessions.
And this is where, in the past, you know, past few years, the team is sort of taking their foot off of the pedal, and I'm interested to see how Dana approaches this. Is he can say, hey, can we keep our foot down and score some more points and not let this team back?
Correction, ball at the 49.
So the Mountaineers will have the ball at the 49-yard line of the Spartans, and take a look at the plays and the yardage by half. In the second half, almost already at the total of the first half in fewer than half the plays. There's a handoff off the right side. That's Trey Johnson, who's going to pick up a couple off the right side. The sophomore who's also in the mix, Jamal Giddens on the stop. We talked about the young running back core. Andrew Bowie and Dustin Garrison, all true freshmen. Trey Johnson is a sophomore. He missed last week with a knee injury, so he's getting his first action of the season. So a very young running back crew here for West Virginia.
Yeah, and Dana wanted to get smaller guys at the running back position to run those little swing passes.
The throw down the field, complete to Ivan McCartney. Wide open, well-delivered ball, and a first down. And they pick up of 30 on the play from Geno Smith to Ivan McCartney.
And I mean, these are very special throws that this guy's making against the cover 2 defense, the corner pressing, safety over the top. You got to have a strong arm to make that throw. You know, I don't think the Mountaineers have had a guy like this that can pass the way that Geno can in a long time.
Timeout.
Probably since Mark Bolger.
Norfolk State.
The Norfolk State Spartans will use their first timeout of the second half here as they're trying to regroup a little bit, finding themselves down 31-12, and this has been lightning offense here from the West Virginia Mountaineers. I think more of what we expected with the Dana Holgorsen coach team, and you wonder how last week affected them. I mean, you play, you don't even get a fourth quarter in, 14-26 remaining in the game, and they call the game, and so they haven't really had a chance to get a full game and a full rhythm going. One guy that has been able to play and play well is Geno Smith, and Dana Holgorsen's been stingy with praise for his offense, but he did have praise for Geno Smith's commitment and passion for the game of football.
When he leaves the building, it doesn't leave his mind, you know. So he's taking it home with him a lot, and you know, when we put the game plan in last week, he's gonna study the game plan, study what they're doing defensively, and it's gonna get better as the week goes on, and he's gonna become more comfortable with it as the week goes on, and you know, and in addition to that, he likes to get out there in the practice field and try to make it work.
And Dana Holgorsen talking about Geno Smith in a whirling run by Trey Johnson. Devontae Reynolds finally stopped him, but what an effort by Trey Johnson.
Yeah, and back to what he was saying about Geno, that's really high praise, and that's something you want from your quarterback. You want him to be your hardest worker, the guy that cares the most, so then everybody can feed off of that.
Smith A flawless second half thus far. Pops it out, and it is complete to your guy, Tyler Urban. You were calling for that, John. And it is Smith to Urban, and a 4th touchdown in the 3rd quarter for the Mountaineers.
And I'm happy for him because he's been working hard. The tight end really doesn't have a big place in this offense. And he's a 6'4" guy, big target in the red zone. And this is a play, a good fake by Gino, good catch by Tyler, touchdown.
And the Mountaineers. Cody Nutter snapping, Michael Molinari in the hold, and Tyler Bittenkurt will try to boot it through. And he does, and the lead is 38-12. West Virginia down at the half. They have scored 4 touchdowns here in the 3rd quarter to take the lead by 26 points over Norfolk State.
Yeah, and like I said, the Spartans came out in the first half, and it was almost like, they shot everything that they had at the Mountaineers, and now they're starting to wear out a little bit. This is where the difference in the schools come. The smaller school, the bigger school. West Virginia probably has better athletes, 1 through 80 or how many guys dress, whereas the Spartans had their first 20, 40 guys, and now you need your backups to play well, and the Mountaineers are just wearing them down.
And obviously Dana Holgorsen wants to keep the pace up offensively, keep the pressure on, and then that feeds more into what you're saying. I mean, as you get the pace up, and now all of a sudden, guys get tired. You got to get those backups in there, and there's a drop off in production on most teams, particularly when you get away from some of the FBS teams.
Yeah, you do. But the Spartans came out ready to play, and that's the thing you got to give them credit for. They're a much better team than I thought they would be, and so you give them credit. They're going to win a bunch of games this year, but it looks like they just wore down. They came out after halftime, and they can still make some plays here and make this game interesting.
Very competitive MEAC, and perhaps we'll take a look at that a little bit later on in the program as Kelvin Lewis on the return there got it out almost to the 20-yard line, and that's another area in which West Virginia has looked much better here, much crisper on special teams in this second half.
Yeah, and Dana talked about that yesterday in the meeting, that he found out that some guys were sort of hiding on special teams, and when they gave up that punt return last week for a touchdown, he got those guys off of there. So he said it really exposed some guys that weren't playing hard and shouldn't have been out there. So it looked like they got it corrected this week.
Well, it's hard. I mean, you until you see guys in game action, they can look fine on a practice field running down. There's no blocking and that sort of thing, and then gets a little different come game time. As Wally in at the quarterback position will hand to Hedgeman. Hedgeman makes a couple guys miss and will pick up about 3 yards on that run.
On the run.
You see Bruce Irvin coming back in. They gave him a little bit of a break on first down. He's trying to be more of an every down player this year, coming from junior college. Big sack numbers last year, and now he's trying to play the run just a little bit better, because that's what those NFL scouts want to see. If a guy that they draft, can they keep him on the field every down?
You'd wonder if maybe he'd be an outside linebacker, though. It's 6'3", 236 pounds at the NFL level. They're asking him to play defensive end here at West Virginia. Just a junior, 14-1 in the Big East and number 2 in the nation, after transferring in as a JUCO All-American. The handoff. And this is Maines, and Maines is going to cross the 25, and a flag's going to come in once again behind the play as Najee Good makes the stop.
Tackle by Najee Good.
Holding, offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Cameron Williams on the hold call there, and the penalty yards are just mounting.
Yeah, and he didn't have to hold because they got the edge on the Mountaineers, and once again, they're letting the Spartans get outside on the run. Just stay outside. The play will come to you, and that seems like the guys on the opposite side of Bruce Irvin are peeking inside a little bit.
And again, you get tired, you start to reach maybe a little bit as an offensive lineman as well.
Yeah, and like I said, Julian Miller battling an ankle sprain. You got some other guys playing for him. If he was out there full go, that wouldn't happen.
The handoff to Maines again, and Maines just has nowhere to run on this one. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, going to bring up a 3rd and long as Will Clark makes the stop.
Yeah, they just tried to get some yards back from the penalty. The Mountaineers did a good job of bottling everything up in the middle. Now, this is a very dangerous area for the Spartans because you got Bruce Irvin. Now, I know we keep talking about him, but this is where he made all of his sacks last year in places like this. So the Mountaineers got to watch out for the slip screens or the plays deep. But I think they're going to try to get him with a slip screen.
Empty set here. Wally making sure everybody knows the play. Under 5 on the play clock. just gets it off. He's going to keep it on the quarterback draw. And not a whole lot of room there. He's going to get to the 15, and he is going to get a wallop. Darwin Cook made the first hit and then kind of held him up, and it seemed like every yellow jersey got a whack at Wally. And it is going to be a punting situation again for the Spartans.
Yeah, that was a very safe play. They didn't want to throw it up. It was long yardage, giving Mountaineers good field position. So they settled for a little quarterback draw, punt the ball now.
Final play of the third quarter, and what a quarter for the West Virginia Mountaineers. Trailing 12-10 to upset-minded Norfolk State at the half. The Mountaineers have come out and given their fans a lot to cheer about. 28 points here in the third quarter. And number 19 ranked West Virginia has eased out to a 38-12 lead. Fourth quarter coming up from Milan Puskar Stadium when we return after this. West Virginia got all they wanted in the first half from Norfolk State. In fact, they got more than they wanted. The Spartans had a 12-10 lead at the half, but West Virginia 4 touchdowns in the third quarter and about to receive a punt here to begin the fourth quarter of play. Menzer trouble and is able to get it out of there. Low kick. Tavon Austin's going to pick it up at the 45-yard line. Scoots up the sideline, crosses midfield, and gets down to about the 48-yard line as we take a look at top 25 scores. Action today around the country. Wisconsin handling Oregon State. Oregon State had that messy loss last week to Sacramento State, an FCS team that came up and beat them in overtime. Ohio State hands full with Toledo. They win 27-22. Auburn leading number 16 Mississippi State, and Michigan State no troubles with FAU. They lead 44-0.
A lot of close games out there, a lot of smaller schools playing well early in the season.
Always scary. These scheduled teams that you expect to beat, you never know how it's going to turn out. As Bernard Roberts picks up 9 in that run and taken down there by Devontae Reynolds. And you look at that as we take a look at this run, and it is fraught with risk. I mean, if you beat a team like Norfolk State, everyone's going to say, well, you should have beat him. You should have beat him handily. If you lose, it can cripple your season.
It could, but this game was really important for both teams. Norfolk State needed this game. Now they'll go back to their division feeling like they can win it. The Mountaineers needed to get reps against a quality opponent, which Norfolk State was in the opening half.
Geno Smith has a man open in the end zone, and he delivers it on the money to Ivan McCartney for the touchdown, and the Mountaineers go up by the score of 44-12.
And this is another big-time throw. I'm just telling you, this guy is very special. I mean, everything that he's doing, from the fake to moving the safeties over, allowing the receiver to get deep, every ball he's throwing is on the money. We haven't seen this around here, like I said, since Mark Bolger, a guy that can just throw the ball with that much touch.
Ivan McCartney and Smith were high school teammates, have remained good friends, and hooking up here in the collegiate level for that score. And Bittencourt's extra point attempt is up, and it's good, and West Virginia has extended the lead to 45-12. Touchdowns on 5 consecutive possessions here. Here's the last one. Smith going up top to McCartney. It's gone from nervous to fun and games here at Mountaineer Field in a very short period of time. The Mountaineers down 12-10 at the half. They have scored on 5 consecutive possessions, and this scoring drive of 2 plays, 48 yards, taking just 40 seconds. Ivan McCartney becomes the 6th different Mountaineer to score a touchdown. 6 touchdowns, 6 different players. Geno Smith is connected with 4 different ones for his 4 touchdown passes, 2 rushing TDs as well. Nice looking return here by Cooperwood as he gets out to the 36-yard line. So you have Garrison and Roberts have run for touchdowns. McCartney, Austin, Urban, and Brown have caught touchdowns. That's pretty good spreading of the football by the Mountaineers, both running and throwing.
Yeah, and this is going to keep everybody happy, keep everybody working, because everybody's touching the ball. Geno's doing a good job of spreading it out, not just going to one guy, but same team, 2 different performances, each half. You ask yourself why, but I think part of it is the Spartans wore down and the Mountaineers finally woke up.
Nico Flores in at the quarterback position for the Spartans. Not been able to get a whole lot going here in the second half. There you go. And there's the bad snap you were talking about, and Flores has to fall on it back at the 24-yard line, and it seemed, as you said, inevitable that was going to happen at some point.
Yeah, it was happening all game. And I'm not sure if this is one of the guys that came over from defense. I know some of the offensive linemen have come over to the offensive line during camp. They had one offensive lineman switch over to defense, and that snap has been happening all game.
Flores goes out. Wally comes back in at the quarterback position. It seemed like whoever Pete Adrian put in the first half was the right guy, but offense is stalled here in the second half. Quick pass, and it is a upending out there as Miller with a big hit on Kelvin Lewis. Boy, you hate to do that as a quarterback, to string your receiver up like that.
Yeah, and those plays worked in the first half when the game was close or they were winning. But now the Mountaineers can sit back and just wait for that play to happen because they're defending, 15-yard first down right there. But they know they have a big lead and they have to score.
And credit to sophomore Kelvin Lewis. That is a tough catch because you're up, you're exposed, and you're going to get hit. And he was able to hang on. Just a short gain, though. And 3rd and 17. Wally with a pump fake. Now up the sideline. Had the man out there, but overshot him. Incomplete. Intended for Reggie Garrett. And it'll be a punting situation.
Yeah, that's a very tough throw that we were talking about before. I'm not sure if that was a cover 2, but similar type of throw. You got to get it up over before that safety gets there. These guys are just, for whatever reason, the first half they were hitting that play, and now they're not.
Maybe the pass rush begins to get to the quarterback a little. He's been in there and has made some contact and gotten some hits, and maybe guys try to get rid of the ball a little quicker than they like to as well. Low lining kick and the fair catch, caught for, hits the ground, and then Austin wanted to run with it, and now the flag will come in.
Called for a fair catch. Flag on the play.
So I think Austin, he obviously called for the fair catch, but I think he figured once it hit the ground, it was fair game.
Yeah, definitely. And, back to the Spartans, when you're winning or when you're close in a game like this, your confidence is high, so you may play a little better. And now you start to see the game get out of reach, and your, the mental side of it goes away.
Blocks for the ways. Receiving team, number 34, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And you see that too. I mean, you see it in the Super Bowl every year. I mean, a team, and not every year, but you'll see it get lopsided, and all of a sudden all the air will go out of one team. They realize it's over, and then it gets lopsided, and we've seen a little of that happening here today. 12:29 remaining in the fourth. West Virginia has things in hand, leading 45-12. Back at Milan Puskar Stadium, where the West Virginia Mountaineers leading 45-12 over Norfolk State. Rob King along with former West Virginia star and longtime NFLer Geno Smith remains in at the quarterback position. Hand to Bernard Roberts, and Roberts picked up about 4 there. Let's take a look at a big week coming up for the Big East. 8-0 last week, had the Louisville loss last night, but these are big games for a Big East conference that has seen itself be referred to as weak over the last couple years and is fighting maybe a little bit of a complex in that regard. And some big games coming up in conference, a chance to prove that they're better than people think they are. As a little trick play attempt there, and Austin will lose a yard on that. Yeah,
the Big East has taken a hit over the past, 5 or 6 years because, Miami left, Virginia Tech left, and, when I played here, it was a really big conference with Syracuse was good back then. So you need your top teams to go out and win the games out of conference for everybody to get off your back. But with the big teams like, SEC teams like that, you're never going to get that respect in the Big East.
Yeah, certainly in the last year or two, the conference has been down. But even, a couple years ago after those teams left, and a nice strike out there, complete to Devon Brown for first down yardage.
To Devon Brown.
I mean, you had years there where West Virginia was beating SEC teams and beating top teams, and it still seemed like the conference couldn't get the respect. And then in the last couple of years, clearly with the conference not really having that top team after West Virginia sort of went from elite status to just pretty good status, that's really hurt the conference's prestige around the nation.
Yeah, I think back in 07 was probably the last year that the conference was looked at very highly, with West Virginia and Louisville both in the top 5 in the country.
And the pass attempt for Stedman Bailey. Bailey did a nice job of trying to slow down, but knocked away by Marcus Cooperwood.
Broken up by Cooperwood.
Yeah, I mean, I know we talked about, Geno staying in the game, but part of the reason I think he's going to stay in is that they didn't have that fourth quarter last week. and is really not a big rush from the other team. I don't think it's a threat of him getting hurt unless he runs. Rushing 3 men, I don't think he'll get hit. So they need to work no matter who they're playing against.
2nd and 10. Smith with a fake. Going to throw over the middle. Has a man wide open. And it is Brown. And Brown's going to cross the 30. He's going to cross the 20. And he's going to be forced out of bounds down around the 5-yard line. Devon Brown. They found that soft spot over the middle again. And before Devontae Reynolds forced him out, he got all the way down to the 5-yard line.
And this is that inside receiver, Brown and Tyler Urban split reps right there at the inside receiver. It looks like they want to get Brown the ball deep down the field when they run this play. But, it's another good throw by Geno, setting back at his feet set, and he made a nice strike.
Bernard Roberts has checked into the game at the tailback position. Ball down at the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. They give to Roberts off the left side, and Roberts might have picked up a yard there down to about the 4. Corwin Hammond made the stop, and I think, when you look at the first week, John, and now this week, one area that Dana Holgorsen, now that the offense looks like the passing attack is starting to click here a little bit in the second half, still probably not satisfied with their ability to run the football, I wouldn't think, at this stage.
No, I mean, they still haven't had the big run, and they haven't had it consistently. That's something they're going to have to either get fixed or almost just go away from it and just put the ball in Geno's hands and let him be the offense.
Fake to Roberts. Smith back and going into the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Brad Starks.
Back of the end zone.
And a big problem with the running game as well. I think to start the drive, one of the running backs, I think it was, one of the freshmen, big hole, made a bad cut, and they've been doing that all day until they learn that, the correct routes and the correct, how to get that hole. You're going to have problems because the holes may be there, but they have to be patient and hit the holes the correct way.
3rd down. Geno Smith already a career high in passing yards with 371. Gets the snap. Looks, throws, touchdown. Nope, they're going to say incomplete. The ball popped out of there, intended for Brad Starks. And it is going to be incomplete.
It's a good defensive play right there, knocking the ball out. He was beat. Starks probably should have had it, shielded the corner with his body a little better than that, but you got to give the guy credit. He came around and didn't get the penalty.
That was Nat Turner-Harris who made the stop, and so Tyler Bittenkurt will come on and try the extra point. So Smith, 20 of 34, 371 yards. Those 371 yards, a career high, and 4 touchdowns, and now leads his field goal drive, and it is good, and the lead is up to 48-12. West Virginia, trouble in the first half, no issues in the second half. Their lead extended to 36 points over the Spartans of Norfolk State. The game summary from Mountaineer Field. Norfolk State jumping out to the 12-10 halftime lead. It has been all West Virginia since then. Norfolk State has committed 18 penalties for 172 yards. That's the most penalties ever by a West Virginia opponent. Smith, with his career high 371 yards passing, has also thrown touchdown passes to 4 different receivers. West Virginia, 283 total yards in the second half. Much more of what Dana Holgorsen is looking for.
Yeah, he just, is, like I said, the tale of 2 halves. Guys came out excited in the second half. They started to see a little bit of success on offense. That first drive was big because they went down and scored, and that seemed to get the whole team going.
We're seeing some substitutions on defense, but talk about things to play for. Of course, coaches always talk about finishing strong. You want to play the entire 60 minutes. West Virginia's defense has yet to allow a touchdown this season. Remember, there was an interception return for a touchdown, or I beg your pardon, a punt return for a touchdown. That's the only points that have, the only touchdown that's been scored against West Virginia this year. They've given up some field goals defensively, so you'd like to keep that intact for as long as possible as well.
Yeah, they had a good defense doing that last year. They had a stretch where they weren't giving up anything over 21 points. So the guys didn't play great today, but they held them out of the end zone. That's all you can ask for.
Nico Flores in at the quarterback position here, and he is going to look to run. J.B. Lageman will wrap him up and take him down. Gain of about a yard, perhaps 2 on that first down run.
Yeah, that was a good play by Lageman. He knocked the offensive tackle back, and he separated him, long arms, got off of the block and made the tackle.
And a lot of times fans don't understand you put in your second or third team and somebody will run for a long score and they'll think, well, they're trying to run the score up. But even if you play conservatively, you still want to go out. If you're J.B. Lageman, you want to let people know, hey, I deserve more playing time. This is your opportunity to show them in game action that maybe you deserve a little more time.
Yeah, and this is
number 73, 5-yard penalty, replay, check it down.
Julius Wormley there with the infraction.
No, I'm saying this is one of the areas that the Mountaineers need to work on, is getting these backup defensive linemen reps and ready to play, because they're going to need them when they start to play teams in October and November where the weather changes, teams start running the ball more.
Try to prepare yourself in case of injury or other things that might happen down the line. Flores will give. Hedgeman tries to get to the corner, not going to make it. Chop down loss on the play as Wes Tonkery came up and made the stop.
You see the Spartans still trying to attack the edges. That was a good job. Mountaineers not being fooled and staying outside. Everything was clogged up in the middle, so that was a good job by Wes right there.
Another guy, redshirt freshman, trying to make a bid for increased playing time. So guys all over the field right now. They say trying to get your game on tape so the coaches can evaluate it, and hopefully positively for the player involved. Chris Wally in now, back at quarterback on a 3rd and 16. Going to throw one out short to the flat. Complete, and Randy Maines just has nowhere to go here. He is forced out of bounds after a pickup of a couple. Broderick Jenkins came up to make the stop. And so it'll be a 4th down.
That was a good job of it. Everybody pretty much is doing their job. One guy taking a shot right there, making him go back, and depending on his teammate on the outside, making the tackle.
And so a punting situation, and it is going to be Jenkins who just made that stop, who's going to go back and receive this punt. By the way, 6 straight possessions with punts for Norfolk State. So we saw them getting some long drives going in that first half. In the second half, West Virginia's defense has just almost completely shut them down.
Yeah, and the Spartans just wore down. They played a great first half. They got to be proud of that.
Jenkins makes the first man miss. Now scoots out to the 40-yard line, and going to pick up about 4 or 5 on this return. How about John Thornton? An all Big East performance, had some first-team All-American mentions as well. That's got to be a proud moment in a player's life.
Yeah, I was a lot bigger back then, about 310 maybe right there, 315 pounds. Could get after the quarterback a little bit, but it was pretty fun, man. I love playing here. It's a great school, whole lot of tradition. They always welcome the former players back. I miss those days. It was a lot of fun here.
Paul Millard has checked in at the quarterback position. The freshman who enrolled in the spring has a little grasp of the offense here. Gets the bad snap and is just able to power forward and pick up a yard or so. Nice catch on that play, but the bad snap really upset the timing of that one.
Yeah, bad snap. 2 young guys back there handling the ball. You don't want to come in and just ruin everything that you had, the momentum. You want to take that into the next game. So this is valuable experience for these young guys.
And we've seen some substitutions along the offensive line as well. So the bench is getting a chance to play a little bit here for Dana Holgerson, and also a little bit for Norfolk State and Coach Pete Adrian as well. Here's Roberts with a handoff off the right side, and Roberts will cross midfield and get out to about the 48-yard line of Norfolk State before Darren Merrow makes the stop.
They're still working on their run game. Guys getting some good blocks, not holding on that play, but this is important for these young running backs to work on their patience and staying on their right track where the holes will be.
3rd and a long one. Millard will give to Roberts, and Roberts will pick up the first down and get down about the 46-yard line. Saw those old school pictures of you. What's it like coming back to your alma mater and seeing some of the changes here as we first take a look at this quick first down run? Nice hole here for Bernard Roberts, but you come down and you see some changes to now Milan Pushkar Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, the Mountaineer Athletic Club has done a great job of going to the alumni and asking them to help out, because you need these facilities to compete. Other schools in the Big East, other schools in the East, period. Now with the talk of maybe going to another conference, you never know. Important. So you see the suites here and the new scoreboard, and the locker room is always changing. They've done a lot to improve the facilities here.
And you mentioned the talk of perhaps another conference or perhaps the Big East expanding. They seem to feel like they're in a good position to expand, and a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world of college football over the last couple of years. The Big Ten's now the Big 12, even though it's called the Big Ten, and the Big 12 is now the Big Ten, even though it's called the Big 12. And there might soon be the Big 9, and all kinds of crazy stuff happening around college football. And you know, that's really been the driving engine. Basketball hasn't seemed to have a whole lot of say in what happens to a lot of these conferences that are jumping ship. Seems to be fueled by the football programs.
Yeah, and you know, I know a lot of people want West Virginia. A lot of fans would like to go to the SEC. I really like being in the Big East for the simple fact that you got an opportunity to dominate this. You go to the SEC, you won't dominate. You got to change the way you recruit. You got to recruit better linemen, better skilled players. It's going to take a while to really get going down there.
Millard sets up the screen, and a nice gain to Dustin Garrison on first down. Picked up about 8 before Marcel Koch made the stop.
There's a nice screen play trying to get the backs out. And this is still good work for the backs to pick and choose where they're going to go. You know, work on that patience, let the blockers set things up.
And a nice comfortable throw. First collegiate throw, first collegiate completion for Paul Millard. And throw and completion number 2. As he wings it out there to J.D. Woods. And Woods will pick up the first down.
21, Nick Taylor on the shove out.
So here's a look at West Virginia's upcoming schedule. Now things get a lot more difficult at Maryland. Then LSU. Bowling Green is a game that you and I will be working again, John, and then we see the rest of the slate there. But those next 2 weeks are really going to talk a lot about where West Virginia is under Coach Dana Holgorsen in his first year at the program.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, this team still needs to establish an identity. What kind of team are they going to be? Are they going to be a finesse run team or a power run team? You know, a lot of things they need to work on, because you're going to go to Maryland, and Coach Randy Edsel coached at Connecticut last year. They've had success against the Mountaineers. They beat them last year, 13-10 up there. You know, so he knows the formula to beat the Mountaineers, and they had a big win the other night against Miami. So that's going to be a tough game. And then coming back here, hopefully things are in place to at least make that a good game, because I think the West Virginia can play with LSU.
Roberts now on this second down run. We have a flag on the play. Roberts has a first down for now. Let's see what the flag is. We saw in that first down play.
Offense, number 72, 10-yard penalty, second down.
That's Todd LaPenta, the referee, with the call. We saw in that first down play, Millard overshooting J.D. Woods, and now the holding penalty will march this gain back from Bernard Roberts.
You know, Dana has to be feeling better about what's going on, but knowing him, getting to know him over the last few months, I mean, he keeps his foot on that pedal, and he wants everything to be perfect. And if you watch Oklahoma State the other night, their offense was almost flawless, and a lot of yards, a lot of points. And that's what he wants to bring here. The guys have to do a better job of making the plays that he calls work.
Millard on the 2nd and 18. Back to pass. Looking now, has to scramble. And Millard will fight to try to get back to the line of scrimmage. May have picked up a yard or two on that scramble to the right side. And this is a nice opportunity for Millard, who is going to be the quarterback of the future, going to learn behind Geno Smith, enrolled in the spring, to get a hold of the offense, and a guy that they really like, a chance to come in, get some game action. It's, you know, practice time is important. You have to play well in practice. You have to prepare well in practice, but it's a different feel once you get out there on the field and it counts for real.
Yeah, and the Mountaineers have lost 2 young quarterbacks. You know, last year guys transferred out of here. They weren't getting a lot of playing time, and so, you know, Millard has a good opportunity to learn from Geno. Good throw right there. You know, learn from a guy like Geno. You never know how long he'll be around here playing like he is now, but you know, he's going to be the guy of the future. So this is great playing time for him.
And a beautiful grab here by Tyler Urban as well.
And he's a good player. You know, he needs reps. The tight end wasn't a big part of this offense for a long time, and you got guys like that. Sometimes it takes the coaches to get comfortable with players like this and see what they can do in game situations.
4th down, maybe a little too long for a field goal attempt, or maybe they just want to see Paul Millard execute a couple more plays here offensively. Regardless, the Mountaineers are going for it here on this 4th and 8 from the 30-yard line. Millard back, looking, going to go for it all. Corner of the end zone, beautifully thrown ball, and it is caught for a touchdown by Brad Brad Starks, the 5th different receiver to catch a touchdown for the Mountaineers today. First career touchdown pass for the freshman Paul Millard.
That was a beautiful pass. That was a beautiful pass, and it was right on stride. Starks did a great job of catching it. Good protection. I mean, everything about this play was perfect. And, you know, you may question, is this running the score? I don't think it's running the score up. I think that the Mountaineers still have things to work on, and hopefully Pete Adrian, you know, he understands that. These guys almost walked out of here with an upset, so I think Dana's just trying to give his guys some experience, his backup quarterback some reps, and I don't think that was running it up at all.
Bittencourt's extra point is up and good. West Virginia has scored 45 unanswered second half points. They were down 12-10 at the half. They are up 55-12 over Norfolk State. Brad Starks, who was banged up in the spring and then banged up in fall ball and appeared to be in the doghouse a little bit, maybe himself from that doghouse and getting out into the fresh air here for this West Virginia offense.
Yeah, and they're pretty deep at receiver as far as body, but they still don't have that dominant guy. And I'll go back to Oklahoma State. They have that Justin Blackman, and #1 receiver. The Mountaineers are still looking for that. Other than Dana's talking yesterday in the meetings, saying he's still trying to find that guy that does everything right all the time, so he can get him the ball more like they do Justin Blackman in the same offense at Oklahoma State.
Well, Brad Starks is the guy, 65 receptions entering this season, had 12 career starts under his belt, but again, banged up in the spring, had shoulder surgery, was banged up in the fall as well, spent a lot of time riding the exercise bike and not getting out onto the field, and so others moved ahead of him on the depth chart, now trying to fight his way back up. So certainly some talent at that wide receiver position. Devon Brown, we mentioned him, you know, the leading receiver at Wake Forest for a couple of years, but as you said, a lot of talent spread out, maybe still looking for that #1 type of guy.
Yeah, and the thing with Dana, he wants to be able to trust these guys to do everything on and off the field, workouts, class, and so a lot of these guys have to prove it to him that they can do it. You know, and some of them are. He's a tough coach, and they got to learn how he works.
Kelvin Lewis on the return out to the 22-yard line. It was Tonkery on the stop for the Mountaineers. And so the Mountaineers are going to roll out of here and roll into the game at Maryland. Always a big rivalry game at Maryland. Always seems to be that if West Virginia beats Maryland, that's a sign of better things to come. And if they lose, maybe it's not going to be the best season in Morgantown. And we'll see if that remains status quo under head coach Dana Holgorsen.
It was like that when I was here, too. We lost to them in, I think, 95 up there, a big night game, and we didn't go to a bowl game that year. Every other year we beat them, we went to a bowl. So that holds true.
Chris Wally in at the quarterback position. And hands off to Maines off the left side. Maines will pick up about 4 or 5 yards. You wonder now if it's just time to see if he can pick up a first down and maybe get this clock run down. Here's Shaq Rowe makes the stop.
Yeah, I think getting lost in the scores that the Spartans played really well for a long time in this game, and so they can't hold their heads down because they're going to go back to their division and play well. Hopefully they use this game as a springboard into their season. Because they came out, they could have easily won this game based on how they played the first half.
Oh, Pete Adrian, we talked about it. Back-to-back winning seasons for the first time since they moved up to that FCS bracket of football. Big hit towards the end of that play. Short gain in the play. Trevor Demko in the stop defensively for the West Virginia Mountaineers. And here, a team Bethune-Cookman made a big statement last week. They're ranked. South Carolina State is ranked. South Carolina State giving Eastern Michigan a ball game out of the MAC last week. So some good teams in that conference. They did receive a first place vote, even though they were picked to finish 5th by the coaches and the media in the preseason ballot. Still, somebody thought well enough to think that's a team that could win the MEAC this year.
It's always good players that come out of there. I mean, you look at the NFL draft, you see a lot of players from the MEAC, won a year ago in the first 2 rounds. So you never know who you're going to go against. But there's a lot of good players. Some players transfer in from the bigger schools. But these guys just got to go back home and understand what they did wrong in the second half and try to get it corrected.
Just a short gain there, going to bring up a 4th down. And, again, Norfolk State, you come into a game like West Virginia, you'd like to have all of your weapons available. You look at that defensive line. 7 returning starters on their defense, but Cameron Jude, a guy you mentioned, transfers that come in, a guy from Michigan State. He is yet to be cleared. They were expecting him to start. George Riddick hurt along that defensive line. Some other injuries along that defensive line, like Stephen Boontz and Tremonde Branch. So guys that they were counting on this year to be a big part of their defensive line, valuable components, not available for this game. They're hoping to have all those guys down the road, but that really hurts when you go up in class and you talked about the depth and your roster maybe not being as deep as other guys. They're having to play walk-ons in this game. So they get some of those guys back. They remember this first half more than the second half, and this could be a positive experience for the Spartans.
Yeah, I think so. And we saw in the first half, they really weren't getting a big pass rush. But then when you only rush 3, you wear down. And it's hard to play the run after that. So having the lack of players available to them, I think hurt them in the second half when West Virginia got going.
Paul Millard remains in at the quarterback position. Bernard Roberts is in at the running back spot. Just over a minute remaining here in the fourth quarter of this game for West Virginia. Got a little scare here in the first half as Roberts runs straight up the gut. A flag comes in behind the play again. We've seen a lot of flags in this game and a lot of penalties. That's one thing Pete Adrian is certainly going to want to clear up for his Spartans.
Offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That was Chad Snodgrass, the senior, who's checked in. And you talked about that offensive line, and Dana Holgorsen mentioned this week ad nauseum, blocking from the receivers, from the running backs, from that offensive line. Again, an opportunity to come in. You don't want to commit a penalty. You're maybe trying to do something positive here that can get you into the mix a little bit later on in the season. But the penalty there, it'll bring up a 50 seconds here and counting left in this game.
Yeah, Dana, you're probably still not happy with what's happened in the run game. So I don't think he'll be giving out praise for the guys for what's happened. It was a tough first half. And, you know, if I'm him, I'm not going to do that anyway, just to keep the guys on edge going into next week, knowing that, yeah, we won the game big today, but this is not going to get it done when we go to Maryland next week.
Millard with a short completion there for J.D. Woods, and that is going to be the final play of the game as they're counting down the clock here. Dana Holgorsen's team is going to improve to 2-0. And again, John, not a particularly clean, not a particularly effective first half. The Mountaineers found themselves trailing 12-10, but you'd think Dana Holgorsen's going to be fairly pleased with what happened here in the second half as he and Pete Adrian get together, and something for the Spartans to work on, to build on as well as they move forward in their season.
Yeah, both teams got something out of this game. The Spartans played a great first half. The Mountaineers played a great second half. Now the Spartans go home, regroup, win your division. The Mountaineers get ready to go up to Maryland next week.
Well, it wasn't easy for the Mountaineers. They found themselves trailing 12-10 at the half, but a second half explosion offensively for the Mountaineers as they score the most points since 2007 when they scored 66 against UConn. They beat Norfolk State by the final score of 55-12. For John Thornton, our entire crew here from Milan Puskar Stadium, I'm Rob King. The West Virginia Mountaineers once again defeating Norfolk State 55-12 here in Morgantown.
Due to the